Chapter 550. Philip came in front of Xia Lei with an awkward expression. "All right, Mr. Xia. The technology of the XL 2500 sniper rifle, the technology of the Gale assault rifle, and the technology of this integrated intelligent machine tool, in exchange for the engine technology of the Typhoon fighter. You win." Ling Hao couldn't contain his excitement. Just as he was about to express his position, Charlotte came in front of him and blocked his body. Charlotte stopped Ling Hao from expressing his position, but he wasn't in a hurry. He said with a smile, "Mr. Philip, let's talk in the conference room. You see, there isn't even a place to sit. I can't be rude to you, distinguished guests from Germany. Please, let's talk in the conference room." "Didn't you say you wanted to talk here?" Philip was very anxious. He wanted to finalize the deal with Charlotte immediately. "Let's go, Mr. Philip. Even if we have a deal, there must be a table for us to sign." Charlotte took Philip's hand and looked very enthusiastic. Ling Hao and the dozen negotiators around him looked at each other. They all had a bitter smile on their faces. Although this transaction was carried out in secret, it was very important to both parties. But with Charlotte's manipulation, it didn't feel like an international negotiation at all. First, the buyer pretended to be indifferent, and then the seller pretended to be a rare commodity. One lowered the price, and the other raised the price. It was like buying things from a street stall. But no matter if it was a negotiation between a large country or buying things from a street stall, Xia Lei had already gained the upper hand in the game against the German team. The engine technology for the Typhoon fighter was more or less in his bag. Xia Lei brought the German people to a conference room, and both sides took their seats. Then, they laid out their horses and started to negotiate. "Mr. Xia, let's not waste any more time. You want our Typhoon fighter technology, and we want your XL 2500 sniper rifle and Gale assault rifle technology. Of course, there's also the technology of your large, integrated intelligent machine tool. Since we both want what we want from each other, then our negotiation is much simpler. Don't you think so?" Philip went straight to the heart of the negotiation. Charlotte said, "Mr. Philip, you mentioned 3 technologies, but you only offered one. If we think about it, we're still at a disadvantage." "Mr. Xia." Philip was so angry that his eyebrows twitched. "We've already shown our sincerity. You should show yours too. It's true that you're at a disadvantage in terms of quantity, but is that the same thing? That's the Typhoon's engine," Charlotte said indifferently. "But with our machine tools, you can build a better engine, right?" "Mr. Xia." Xia Lei ignored Philip, who was already angry, and said calmly, "Also, the XL 2500 sniper rifle and the Gale assault rifle are the 2 best guns in the world. Currently, we are not targeting European and American countries. Once you have it, you can arm your army. Think about it. On the battlefield in the Middle East, if your soldiers use XL 2500 sniper rifles and Gale assault rifles, wouldn't their combat effectiveness be doubled? In urban warfare, your soldiers can even snipe targets from 2,500 meters away. Even a Gale assault rifle was better than the average sniper rifle. Its effective range of 1 kilometer was no joke. With such excellent technology, can it be compared to your Typhoon's engine technology? Mr. Xia, the XL 2500 sniper rifle and the Gale assault rifle you mentioned are indeed the best guns in the world, but they're just guns. What we're providing is the most advanced fighter engine technology." Charlotte said calmly, "The most advanced? I don't think so. I know that the most advanced should be the F-35 fighter engine, and even the Russian T-50 is not bad. There's also the French Rafale fighter. If I want, I can trade my technology with them at any time. What I want to tell you is that the Russians really like our XL 2500 sniper rifle and Gale assault rifle, not to mention my machine tool technology." Philip was silent for a moment, then said, "Since you don't want to trade, why did you let me come here?" Xia Lei glanced at Anina. "I'm doing this because of Anina. Also, it's because our 2 countries have good relations. What other conditions do you have? Say it." "I have 2 conditions," Charlotte said. "First, Anina is a victim from the beginning. I want your authorities to drop all charges against her and set her free. Also, you have to promise that the Americans can't arrest her, let alone interrogate her." Philip said, "That's not a problem. Miss Anina is a German citizen. As long as we don't want, the Americans can't hurt her." Well, then let me say my second condition. Charlotte said, our deal is based on fairness and justice. What I want is a physical exchange, not a paper technology. Philip was stunned for a moment. What do you mean? Charlotte said, what I mean is very simple. Your staff will come to China to build a production workshop for the Typhoon fighter engine, and I will go to Germany to build a production workshop for the XL 2500 sniper rifle and Gale assault rifle. Of course, the most important thing is the integrated intelligent machine tool. Build a workshop? Mr. Xia, are you kidding? If that's the case, we will face great pressure from our European allies and the United States, while you have no pressure except for your own interests. That's not fair, Charlotte said. This negotiation will not be open to the public. The workshop you want to build will only be deep in the mountains, and no one will know. If one day your allies in the United States find out, you can also push the blame to us, saying that our spies stole your technology. There will definitely be some pressure, but won't be serious. So, Mr. Philip, you don't have to make it sound so serious. Although I don't understand politics, I know what it means to wrangle and act shamelessly. Every year, European and American countries would accuse China's spies of stealing secrets, and even some legal businessmen would be monitored and even accused by the CIA. This was actually because Europe and the United States had imposed a technology blockade on China. There was only one purpose, and that was to encircle the rise of China and maintain their hegemony in the world. But now, Charlotte was like a nail, fiercely piercing into this blockade and opening a gap. Ling Hao couldn't help but smile. Just now, he was worried that Charlotte would make a statement, but he didn't expect Charlotte to be so meticulous and well-planned. In fact, at the beginning of the negotiation, his bottom line was only the engine of the Typhoon fighter and the related paper technology. After getting these things, China scientists still needed to digest these technologies and then copy the engine. He didn't expect Charlotte to directly ask the Germans to build the workshop. The German people were discussing in low voices, and the majority were against it. Philip was silent for a moment. This can't be done. I can't make the decision. Charlotte said lightly, Mr. Philip, this is your second time here. I believe your side has given you enough authority. If you can't make the decision, then please go back and ask your government to send someone who can. If you give up, I will contact the Russians and exchange the engine technology with them for the T-50 fighter. Mr. Xia, you are putting me in a difficult position. Philip's heart was not only in a difficult position, he even wanted to punch Charlotte. Charlotte smiled. Mr. Philip, I will tell you the truth. Even if both of us only exchange the technology on paper, you can't make a qualified XL 2500 sniper rifle and Typhoon assault rifle, and you can't make my smart machine tool. I believe that your German arms company has already gotten the XL 2500 sniper rifle and Typhoon assault rifle through special channels. Can they copy it? If they can, I don't think you will be here to negotiate with me, right? I will make a phone call first. Please wait. Philip's tone softened. Go ahead. Charlotte didn't seem to be in a hurry at all. The German people were still discussing in low voices, and Philip left the conference room to make a phone call. Ling Hao asked Charlotte in a low voice, will they agree? Charlotte said, they will agree. The Eurofighter Typhoon was actually a collaboration between England, Germany, Italy, and Spain, among which the Germans took the lead. Now they're using a few people's money to make a deal with us, but the benefits are all theirs. Will they refuse such a good deal? In fact, what they're most worried about now is not how much pressure they will face in the future, but whether we will go to Spain or Italy. You know very well, kid. I thought you were only good at fighting and making guns, but I didn't expect your negotiation skills to be so good. Well, no wonder a woman like Shinda Tianyin is willing to marry you. You are a treasure. Ling Hao said with a smile. Brother Ling, it's not good to talk about my private life here. And when are you going to give me the 100 yuan? Charlotte stretched out a hand to Ling Hao. Ling Hao looked at Charlotte speechlessly, but he still took out his wallet from his pocket, took out a 100 yuan note, and threw it at Charlotte's hand rudely, and complained, You kid, you are a person with a net worth of 10 billion yuan, and you actually care about a 100 yuan bet with an office worker like me. You are really something. Huh? Charlotte laughed. I will save this 100 yuan, even if I have to beg for money in the future. Ling Hao, how could he say such words? Anina just looked at Charlotte quietly, and at this moment, her eyes were full of tenderness. Charlotte had fought for her freedom, and she could go back to Germany to realize her dream. This kind of thing, just thinking about it, made her excited and even wet. In this world, there was only one man who didn't need to do anything, just appear in front of her, and this man could only be Charlotte. Her angel, Lucas. A few minutes later, Philip returned to the conference room. Mr. Xia, we agree to your request. Now let's talk about the details of the contract. Charlotte laughed. I don't need to talk about this. I'm not very good at it. But I want to add a clause in the contract, and that is after I go to Germany, you have to guarantee my safety. I don't want CIA agents to appear in front of me. No problem. Philip agreed immediately. Okay, you guys talk. I need to go to the washroom. Charlotte got up and left. Withdrawing in time was a smart move. The reason was simple. Ling Hao brought so many people, and they were all representatives of Hua to negotiate with Germany. Which one of them was simple? They were all big shots. If he finished everything and stole all the limelight, would those big shots be happy? Making those big shots unhappy was not a smart thing to do. Sure enough, when Charlotte got up and left, a few people around Ling Hao smiled and rubbed their palms, ready to negotiate with the German people. Before Charlotte walked out of the conference room, Anina got up and left. Her jade-like dimples were flushed and her eyes were watery. She chased after him, probably to solve some of her problems. Chapter 551. Charlotte had just finished peeing when a fragrant wind came from behind. He didn't even need to use his eyes. He could tell with his nose that Anina had followed him in. Before he could turn around, Anina's body pressed against him from behind. Her body was very soft, so soft that it seemed to have no bones, so soft that it seemed to be all cream. Charlotte didn't know whether to laugh or cry. This was a men's bathroom. If someone came in and saw Anina and him hugging each other, and he hadn't even had time to take care of his problem, what would they think? Lucas, you gave me freedom. I want to thank you. Anina's breathing was very short, and her voice was also full of excitement. How could Charlotte not know what she meant by thank you? He suddenly became nervous and hurriedly zipped up. Anina, the negotiation is not over yet. I still want to ask Philip one more thing. What do you want to ask him? Anina said unwillingly. Isn't it all taken care of? Charlotte turned to look at her. Someone leaked your information about the Thunder Horse Arsenal, so Philip came to find you. I want to find out the identity of that person. It's not good to mention such a thing in front of so many people. But Anina's cheeks were hot and blushing. She was really embarrassed to say what was in her heart. Charlotte said with a smile, you are free now. I said I would help you realize your dream. When I go to Germany to build the production line, I will take you to build a medieval castle where you like. Your beautiful life has just begun. You have time to enjoy it. Only then did Anina smile. All right, I'll listen to you. You are my angel. Charlotte walked out of the bathroom with Anina and saw Qin Xiang standing by the sink to wash her hands. Qin Xiang glanced at Charlotte and Anina with a strange look and said in a very feminine voice, Oh, the two of you are really close. You even go to the bathroom together. Did you just finish inside? It was too open inside. Fortunately, I went to the women's restroom. Otherwise, if I saw them doing that, I would definitely get a needle eye. Anina's face became redder. She glared at Qin Xiang with shame and indignation, but she didn't know how to refute this sissy. After all, she chased Charlotte into the men's restroom to have a passionate release with Charlotte, but she didn't succeed. This type of crime was not very different from an attempted crime. Charlotte was also very embarrassed. After a long silence, he said, Why did you go to the ladies' room? Qin Xiang put her hands on her hips. Even Anina can go to the men's room. Is there a problem with me going to the women's room? Charlotte, Qin Xiang giggled. Forget it. I won't joke around anymore. I'll talk to you about serious business. I gathered the workers in the auditorium. It was a mess, and people were talking about what had happened. I didn't dare to make a statement, so I came to ask you what to say to the workers. Charlotte thought for a moment. You go and tell them that this is a drill under unforeseen circumstances. A drill under unforeseen circumstances? What? Qin Xiang blinked her eyes that had eyeshadow and stared at Charlotte. Xiaolei grumpily said, "Can't you read more books and wear less makeup when you have nothing to do?" A drill under unforeseen circumstances usually refers to unpredictable disasters, such as earthquakes and terrorist attacks. You can say whatever you want. Then tell them that today is overtime and they will get double pay. Also, inform the cafeteria to add more food. Qin Xiang said with a smile, "It's no wonder the workers like you, boss. You give them money and add more food." "Okay, I'll go and tell them." Charlotte nodded and urged, "Go. Go." Qin Xiang walked 2 steps and turned back. "Oh, the workers are all gathered in the auditorium. Can I organize a get-together for them, like a blind date or something?" "Charlotte, then I'll take that as a yes." "Hee, the workers will definitely be very happy. I'm going." Qin Xiang swayed her hips and walked away. Charlotte and Anina were still in front of the sink and didn't move for a long time. The negotiation didn't end until evening. After Charlotte left, Ling Hao's team and Philip's team talked for about 10 hours before the matter was finalized. According to the agreement, the German side would send an engineering team to build the Typhoon engine production line. Of course, the funding would be borne by the German side, including the salary and daily expenses of the engineering team. The German side would send an engineering team to Germany to build the XL 2500 sniper rifle and Gale assault rifle production line, as well as build a giant integrated intelligent machine tool. The German side would be responsible for all the expenses of the engineering team. Money was actually a small matter for both sides. What was important was each other's technology. This cooperation was a win-win situation. After the negotiation, Ling Hao invited the German side to dinner, but Philip politely declined. Ling Hao didn't force them to stay. After all, this transaction couldn't be seen. These Germans didn't want to be noticed by anyone, so it was normal for them not to attend the dinner. Charlotte sent the German side away. When they walked to the parking lot, he pulled Philip aside and whispered in German, "Mr. Philip, I want to ask you for help with something. I don't know if it's possible." "Mr. Xia, what do you need me to do for you?" Philip said. Charlotte lowered his voice. "I want to know who leaked Anina's secret to you. Can you tell me?" "This." Philip suddenly showed a difficult expression. Charlotte said, "Mr. Philip, I know this request will make you feel difficult, but it's very important to me. We are now in a cooperative relationship, which means we are allies. That person's motive is obvious. He wants to deal with me. In this world, only I can build the XL 2500 sniper rifle and Gale assault rifle production line for you, and only I can build the integrated intelligent machine tool that you want. You don't want anything to happen to me, right? The enemy of a friend is an enemy. Are you going to keep an enemy's secret from me?" Philip hesitated. "Come with me." Charlotte followed Philip into a Mercedes-Benz car. Philip took out his mobile phone and played an audio file. Then he handed the phone to Charlotte and said, "Mr. Xia, the informant is a woman. I don't know her identity. After I received her call, I felt the need to record it. This is also evidence, so I recorded the content of the call with her." "A woman?" Charlotte originally guessed that it was Mu Jianfeng and Yi Kuan, but Philip said it was a woman. This surprised him, and he couldn't guess the woman's identity for a moment. Xiaolei opened the audio file, and the woman's voice came out of the phone. She was speaking in English. "Mr. Philip, I'm very happy that you can answer my call, and I promise you that you will reap great benefits from this call." "Who are you?" Philip's voice. "Who I am is not important. What's important is what I'm going to say." "What are you trying to say?" Philip's voice. "Please listen carefully. I want to tell you that the German mechanic Anina you have been looking for is hiding in the Thunder Horse military factory. She and Charlotte designed the Gale assault rifle and the XL 2500 sniper rifle together. She and Charlotte are very close, and she holds the core secrets of these 2 weapons. As long as you bring her back to Germany, you can get the technology of these 2 weapons." "Wait, who are you?" Philip's voice was full of excitement. "I've already said that it doesn't matter who I am. In a little while, you will receive a package with evidence that Anina is in the Thunder Horse military factory. With the evidence I've given you, Charlotte can't deny it. You will definitely be able to bring Anina back to Germany. What you said is really valuable to us. Thank you, but I want to know why you told me, but you don't even want to say your name. Philip's voice. Pay attention to receiving the package. That's it. Goodbye, Mr. Philip. The woman hung up the phone. In the Mercedes-Benz, Philip said, Mr. Xia, this is why I know Anina is in the Thunder Horse military factory. An anonymous informant call, a package, and I came. That informant is really a strange woman. I don't know what she's doing. Charlotte didn't seem to hear Philip's voice, and his mind was still recalling the woman's voice. At this moment, his brain was like a computer, using a powerful ability to analyze and compare the characteristics of all the women's voices he had heard. This was not a simple recall of those voices, but many women's voices had appeared in his brain. Anina's Guanling Shans, Long Bings, Shinta Tianins, Tang Yuyins, Salamis, the auntie who sold breakfast on the street, and even a music teacher in high school. This seemed to be a very complicated and huge brain operation, but from beginning to end, it only took 2 minutes. 2 minutes later, a woman's voice suddenly appeared in his mind, and her name, Gu Qun. The results of the brain analysis and comparison came out, but Charlotte couldn't believe it was true. Because Gu Qun was dead, a dead man couldn't make a phone call. However, the woman's voice in the audio file was indeed Gu Qun's voice. How is this possible? She's already dead. Long Bing killed her herself. With Long Bing's skills, it's impossible that she can't even deal with Gu Qun, right? Charlotte was confused. Mr. Xia. Philip looked at Charlotte with a strange look. Are you okay? Charlotte came back to his senses. I'm fine. I was just wondering who she was. You don't even know who your opponent is? Charlotte smiled bitterly. I have too many opponents. Well, thank you, Mr. Philip. Philip said, Mr. Xia, don't worry. After you arrive in Germany, we will be responsible for your safety. No one can hurt you in Germany. Charlotte reached out to Philip. I believe in your sincerity in Germany. Happy working with you, Mr. Philip. Philip shook hands with Charlotte. Happy working with you. After getting out of the car, Charlotte walked to the side of the parking lot and called Long Bing. Hello, where are you? At home. Oh, if you didn't call, I would have forgotten. Today is Saturday. Long Bing's voice was full of joy. Come over. I'll cook for you now. Today is Saturday? Only then did Xia Lei remember the only request Long Bing had for him, and that was to accompany her every Saturday. Yes, today is Saturday. By the way, do you want pickled pepper beef noodles or fried paste noodles? The supermarket was on sale, so I bought an extra bag. It was Long Bing's voice. Charlotte. Chapter 552. When the door opened, Charlotte was slightly stunned. Long Bing, who was standing at the door, was wearing a tight vest and sports shorts. They were black and made of elastic cotton. The black fabric clung to her skin as if it was her second skin. She was not wearing any underwear under the tight vest and sports shorts. Her plump breasts were clearly visible, and the shorts also revealed her feminine characteristics. The shape of the inward depression was clearly outlined, making people full of fantasy. She was cold and elegant, but so sexy. Charlotte didn't know where to look. Look up, it's rude. Look down, it's obscene. It's impolite not to look. Long Bing was very natural. It's not like you haven't seen it before. Why are you in a daze? Yes, it's not like you haven't seen it before. Not only have you seen it, but you've also seen it with your tongue and hands. Why are you in a daze? Charlotte smiled awkwardly. You're so beautiful. Long Bing frowned. I'm not a woman who likes to talk sweet words. Come in. Xia Lei entered the room and closed the door behind him. He put the things he had bought on the coffee table and looked at Long Bing's house. He had said that he would renovate the house for Long Bing, buy some appliances, and so on. This was his promise. He had made a promise, and he had to keep it. Long Bing glanced at the things Charlotte had bought. There were some ingredients, red wine, and chocolate. She said, Why did you buy so many things? Charlotte said, I can't let you eat instant noodles, can I? You've got to be nice to yourself. Don't neglect nutrition because of convenience. Eating instant noodles often is not good for your health. Xia Lei's concern made Long Bing's lips curl into a smile. However, this trace of smile disappeared in the blink of an eye. She suddenly turned sideways and kicked Xia Lei's shoulder. Her slender, white, and tender legs opened and closed at an angle of almost 150 degrees in an instant. The tight black sports shorts suddenly tightened, and the feminine features that were hidden by them became clearer and more obvious. They were also completely exposed to Xia Lei's field of vision. It was at this moment that Long Bing's leg kicked Charlotte's shoulder. The pain and impact came at the same time, and he took 2 steps back. "What are you doing?" Charlotte rubbed the shoulder that was kicked, a little angry. Long Bing didn't say anything and rushed over. When she was 1 step away from Charlotte, she suddenly turned around and swept a whirlwind kick at Charlotte's neck. Her long legs drew a black and white trajectory in the air, beautiful but incomparably fierce. Charlotte didn't retreat. His body swayed and directly cut between Long Bing's legs. He used his shoulder to support the root of her thigh, and at the same time, he reached out and grabbed the waist of her pants, capturing Long Bing alive. A second ago, Long Bing was still in a fierce state of attack, and a second later, she was already sitting on Charlotte's shoulder. However, it was only a second to pause. Long Bing suddenly locked Charlotte's neck with her legs, leaned her upper body back, and fell on the carpet with Charlotte. This scene was often seen in the UFC's No Limits fighting, and it was the famous triangle lock. Long Bing's legs and her hip joint formed a triangle shape, and Charlotte's head was imprisoned at the top corner of this triangle. Charlotte's mouth unavoidably stuck on the woman's characteristic that was only covered by a layer of elastic cotton. For a moment, the mature smell of a woman, mixed with the smell of sweat, rushed into his nostrils, and his breath also rushed to that place. Long Bing's legs originally tightened, wanting to use the triangle lock to subdue Charlotte, but under this kind of intimate contact, she could only hold on for a few seconds. After that, her legs quietly relaxed, but still maintained the posture of locking Charlotte. Otherwise, he would be able to escape. "Let go of me. You want to fuck the forest cat?" Charlotte's mouth was blocked, and his voice was very strange. Long Bing was even more strange. When Charlotte spoke, her willowy eyebrows wrinkled, and her white jade dimples had a large blush. "Hey, Lou don't want to be like this." Charlotte continued to speak. "You don't talk." Long Bing looked very uncomfortable, and her voice also had a trace of trembling. "Lou don't want to talk. Lou just wants to talk." Charlotte was doing this on purpose. "I want to learn Wing Chun from you." "Lou look like this. Do you want to learn Wing Chun?" "Well, what kind of perfume is this?" "It smells strange." This guy, you're doing this on purpose. See how I deal with you." Long Bing's legs suddenly tightened. Her waist twisted and suddenly turned over, pressing Charlotte under her body. It was still a triangle lock, just now it was a straight triangle. Now it was an inverted triangle. But whether it was a straight triangle or an inverted triangle, Charlotte was under the pressure of the top angle, unable to escape. "Let go of Lou. Lou teach Lou to vibrate Wing Chun." Charlotte continued to speak. "Vibrate Wing Chun?" Long Bing condescendingly. Her eyes were shining, and there was a heroic spirit between her eyebrows. "Vibrate Wing Chun sweet." Charlotte's words became more and more unclear. He actually wanted to say authentic Wing Chun. "You provoked me." "That oil." A black vest suddenly fell, covering Charlotte's face. The next moment, whether it was authentic Wing Chun or vibrate Wing Chun, the man and woman who were entangled with each other couldn't tell. An hour later, Charlotte and Long Bing sat at the table to enjoy dinner. Charlotte was reluctant to let Long Bing eat instant noodles. He carefully cooked several delicious dishes and opened a bottle of red wine. Long Bing was grinning from ear to ear. Such a dinner was full of romance and warmth. Of course, there was also a little taste of cheating. However, it was precisely this hint of a clandestine love affair that made both Xia Lei and Long Bing secretly excited because of its existence. Those men and women who cheated and had affairs, didn't they want this kind of excitement? After dinner, Charlotte and Long Bing lay on the sofa watching TV. "I want to tell you something." Charlotte broke the warm silence between the two. "What is it?" Long Bing glanced at Charlotte lying in her arms, her eyes full of tenderness and sweetness. Charlotte told her what happened in the past few days. Long Bing's expression suddenly became dignified. You made a deal with Germany and obtained the engine technology of the Typhoon fighter for our country? This is a national secret. How can you tell me so casually? Charlotte said, You're not an outsider. You're my woman. Why does it matter if I tell you? Then will you tell Shinatianin? Charlotte thought for a moment. No. There was no point in telling Shinatianin about this. She was a businesswoman, not a secret agent. The less she knew about this, the safer it would be, and the more she knew, the more trouble there would be. By not telling her, he was actually protecting her. Long Bing smiled. It seems that in your heart, there's still a difference between me and her. Charlotte said, I want to say more than that. That informant, her motive was to deal with me. She probably doesn't know that I made a deal with the Germans. She wanted to mess with me, but I benefited from it. Did you find out who she is? I was about to tell you about this, but I'm afraid you won't believe me. Huh? Then tell me. I listened to the recording of Philip's phone call. Her voice, after a pause, Xiao Lei said, was Gu Qian's voice. Long Bing said in surprise, Gu Qian? How is that possible? In Japan, I killed her with my own hands. How could she come back to life? That knife, I stabbed her in the heart. Did you just stab her? Only once. At that time, the female assassin was in front of me, pointing a gun at me, so I didn't have a chance to stab her a second time. However, I stabbed her in the heart, so there's no difference between 1 or 2 stabs, Long Bing said. She couldn't help but think of the scene at that time, and she still believed that she had killed Gu Qian. Charlotte was silent for a moment, then said, There are 2 possibilities in this matter. The first is that a woman's voice is similar to Gu Qian's. The second possibility is that Gu Qian is still alive, and she's making a comeback. How is that possible? She's clearly dead. Charlotte said, There's nothing absolute in this world. It's possible that her heart was misaligned, and your knife wasn't fatal. It's also possible that you were facing the threat of the female assassin at that time, and you were nervous and made a mistake. Now that you mention it, I think it's possible. Long Bing sighed. If this possibility is true, then she's really a tough cockroach. By the way, you said that you were going to Germany to build workshops and machine tools for the Germans. I'm a little worried now. Could it be a trap? Charlotte's heart skipped a beat. You mean whether the informant is Gu Qian or not? Her informing Germany is just part of her plan? Her real purpose is to lure me to Germany? To deal with me there? It's possible. Charlotte thought for a moment, then shook his head. The probability of this possibility existing is too small. First of all, I was the one who proposed to go to Germany to build the workshops and machine tools. Why did you do that? You knew that going to Germany would be very risky. Charlotte said, I'm doing this for this country. Think about it. We bought so many Russian engines, but until now, we still can't make a decent fighter engine. I believe that our scientists have thoroughly studied those engines, but the technology on paper isn't the actual technology. Our manufacturing industry is still lagging behind. It's not something that can be improved with 1 or 2 machine tools. It's related to many industries and many fields of technology. I thought that even if we get the Typhoon fighter engine technology from the Germans, if it's only on paper, it won't be of much use. So, I propose to let the Germans come over to build a workshop to produce fighter engines, and I'll go to Germany to build what they want. With a workshop, we can produce the Typhoon fighter engine, and, at the same time, we can learn more technology. Long Bing stroked Charlotte's cheek. You're right. The risk is worth taking. When do you plan to leave for Germany? After my wedding with Shinta Tianyin. By then, all the preparations will probably be done. Charlotte said, I'll go with you. Okay. Ring, ring, ring. Ring, ring, ring. Charlotte's cell phone suddenly rang. Chapter 553. Long Bing became nervous. Could it be Shinta Tianyin? Charlotte said, I don't think it's her. I called her before I came here. I said I would stay in the company to work. Long Bing breathed a sigh of relief. Then who is it? Charlotte took out his phone and frowned when he saw the number. It was actually Tang Yuyan who called. Hello, Yuyan, what's up? Charlotte answered the phone. His voice was lazy, as if he was in bed. Are you sleeping? It was Tang Yuyin's voice. Yes, it's already so late. Of course, I need to rest. Charlotte's voice became even more lazy. Who are you lying to? Where are you? At home, of course. My man is guarding the door of Lane House. He said you didn't go home. Vixen. Charlotte cursed in his heart, but he said, I'm at the company's house. You know, I have a house there. Yes, I'm standing in front of your villa now. I asked the special forces who are guarding there, and they said you didn't go back. Charlotte, are you at Long Bing's house? It was Tang Yuyin's voice. What nonsense are you talking about? Why would I be at Long Bing's house? Charlotte braced himself and said, just say it. Why are you looking for me? Okay, I'll be straightforward. I got the news from my godfather that you'll be going to Germany soon. I have to go with you. Al, how can I do that? You can't, right? From now on, I'll send someone to watch you 24 hours a day. I don't believe I can't find evidence of your affairs. Yes, I will show the evidence to Shinta Tianin on the day of Shintu Tianin's wedding. If it were anyone else, they most likely wouldn't have done something like this. However, she was Tang Yuyin, the heiress of the Tang sect. She had once scrawled, Tang Yuyin was here on his but for Shinta Tianin to see. Was there anything she wouldn't do? That bitch, Long Bing said angrily. Tang Yuyin's voice came through the phone. I think I heard someone talking. It's a woman. Hello, is this Long Bing? Let her answer the phone. I bought a bunch of green root fruits and macadamia nuts. I'll bring some over for her. Charlotte looked at Long Bing. Long Bing winked at Charlotte and waved at him. Yes, yes. Charlotte coughed. If you want to give her something, you have to go to her house. She's not by my side, so I can't get her to answer your phone. Then where are you? Tang Yuyin's voice was full of suspicion. Why should I tell you? I have some personal matters to deal with, so it's not convenient for me to tell you. Then when you go to Germany, you have to bring me along. Let me think about it. Hello? Why is it no sound? My phone is out of battery. Act. I'll watch you act. Why is it no sound? Oh no. With that, Charlotte immediately hung up and turned off his phone. Although he couldn't hear Tang Yuyin's seductive voice, he was still nervous and his head hurt. The warm atmosphere in the living room disappeared because of this phone call. Long Bing said angrily, she wants to go to Germany too? She's just causing trouble. For this trip to Germany, Anina definitely had to go back with them. With Anina and Long Bing, Charlotte already had a headache. If he added in the mischievous Tang family's heiress, Tang Yuyin, then his trip to Germany would be even more lively. Not to mention building a workshop in Germany to manufacture machine tools. Just dealing with his relationship with the three women was enough to give him a headache. Do you want to bring her along? Long Bing asked. Charlotte got up from her embrace. Of course not. She'll only cause trouble. Then how are you going to deal with her pestering? She's been spoiled by old Master Tang. If she wants something, she'll get it. Then what does she want? Don't you understand? The thing she wants is you. Charlotte smiled bitterly. Am I a thing? Of course you're not a thing. Charlotte was speechless. Oh, no. I didn't mean it that way. Long Bing felt a little awkward and changed the topic. She wants to go to Germany for 2 reasons. The first is political capital. You should know that she's from the Tang family and is the goddaughter of old Master Shi. There's a rumor among us in 101 innings that she'll be the future leader of 101 innings. In fact, old Master Shi has been grooming her. Of course, she won't miss such an important mission. Charlotte finally understood why Shi Boren didn't want to give him Long Bing as his partner every time there was an important mission, but Tang Yuyin. However, he could understand this kind of thing. There was no need to talk about the ancient Tang family. The modern Tang family was a big family that was involved in business, politics, and the military. The Tang family's rules also placed the revitalization of the Tang family as the top priority. Every disciple of the Tang family shouldered this responsibility, and Tang Yuyin was no exception. Under such circumstances, she had to work hard. Long Bing was different. Other than serving the country, Long Bing had almost no ambition in politics. What's the second reason? Of course it's you, you idiot. Long Bing poked Charlotte with her finger. She likes you. Even a military dog in 101 innings can see this. Can't you see it? Charlotte was speechless. She likes you, and so does the Tang family. You're now the father of rifles in China. Although you're not in politics, Your political capital makes many politicians jealous. If the Tang family recruits a man like you, it'll be like adding wings to a tiger. You might even become a great person in the Tang family's history. Well, let's not talk about money. The Tang family doesn't lack money anyway. You guys are a good match. Charlotte smiled bitterly. Bing, don't joke with me, okay? You know I'm good at other things, but my life is a mess. Sometimes I want to go to Mars and live for a while. Go to Mars. Long Bing smiled. Then will you take me there? Yes, of course I will. Charlotte thought to himself, bring Tianyin, bring Rui, bring Anina. Then I'll continue to have a headache. What'd I do in my previous life? I like it when you call me Bing. Long Bing suddenly wrapped her arms around Charlotte's neck. My grandma used to call me that too. Charlotte said sweetly. Then I'll call you Bing from now on. Long Bing pursed her lips and smiled, then kissed Xia Lei's lips. The two of them tangled on the sofa. Can you do it? It's a bit difficult. Then I'll help you. Where did you learn it from? By holding back. Knock, 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 knock. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door. The two of them who were entangled on the sofa suddenly stopped. Long Bing propped up her upper body from Charlotte's body, stuck her head out of the back of the sofa, and looked nervously in the direction of the door. Charlotte wanted to get up, but she pressed him down. Knock, 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 knock. Charlotte's left eye twitched slightly, and the sofa that was blocking his view disappeared from his sight in the blink of an eye. Then he saw the door. Then he saw Tang Yuyin. Tang Yuyin, who was standing at the door, was dressed casually. She was wearing a white sweater, light blue denim trousers, and a pair of New Balance sneakers. She exuded a youthful and lively aura. She looked like whatever she wore. When she wore a Chong Sam, she looked like a young lady from a famous family, noble and gorgeous. When she wore such casual clothes, she looked like a college student, youthful, beautiful, and extremely cute. Tang Yuyin was actually carrying a cardboard box in her hand. The cardboard box was printed with the words 3 Squirrels New Year Gift Bag. Its stomach was obviously filled with snacks such as green root fruit, macadamia nuts, and hand-peeled Badenwood. Women always liked them. Knock, 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 knock. Tang Yuyin knocked on the door a few more times. Charlotte really wanted to speak, but Long Bing covered his mouth. Long Bing, I know you're home. Open the door. I brought you a gift. Long Bing still didn't say anything. Huh? Tang Yuyin laughed. Don't pretend. Your car is still downstairs. If you don't open the door, I'll open the door myself. I brought a wire. Long Bing bit her lips and said, It's coming, it's coming. The two climbed up from the sofa. Charlotte hurriedly zipped up, and Long Bing also hurriedly put on her sports vest. What should we do? She'll find out. Charlotte was very nervous. Go, hide it in the closet. Don't make a sound. No matter what she says, don't make a sound. I'll take care of the rest. Long Bing quickly calmed down. Charlotte nodded, pulled up his pants, and ran to Long Bing's room. Long Bing tidied up her hair and then went to open the door for Tang Yuyin. Without waiting for Long Bing's invitation, Tang Yuyin entered the house. A pair of beautiful eyes quickly swept across the living room and then looked inside the room. What are you doing here? Long Bing said. I brought you delicious food. I'm so good to you. How are you going to repay me? Tang Yuyin said with a smile and continued to look around. Long Bing took the big gift bag from her hand and said, I'll take it. You can go back. Tang Yuyin rolled her eyes at Long Bing. How can you be like this? I brought you delicious food. You didn't even give me a sip of water, and you're going to drive me away immediately? I won't leave today. I'll stay here for the night. You, Long Bing said angrily, you're really thick-skinned. Wait, don't move. Tang Yuyin suddenly stared at Long Bing. Long Bing was stunned for a moment. What are you doing? Tang Yuyin reached out and grabbed a curly hair from Long Bing's tight vest, then stared at Long Bing. What is this? At this moment, Long Bing's face turned red, and she was so embarrassed and depressed that she wanted to hit the wall, but she still had to bite the bullet and explain, It's mine. Your own hair will run to your clothes, and it's under your chin. Long Bing, I'll borrow your bathroom. Tang Yuyin suddenly walked to the bathroom. No. Long Bing reached out to grab her, but Tang Yuyin's skills were better than hers, and she also had the Tang sex Qigong, so she was a step too slow and didn't catch her. The cunning Tang Yuyin didn't go to the bathroom, but broke into her room. Oh no! Long Bing rushed into the room. Tang Yuyin was very fast. When Long Bing followed in, she had already opened the door of the closet. Long Bing closed her eyes and didn't dare to look. She didn't even dare to imagine how embarrassed Tang Yuyin would be when she saw Charlotte hiding in the closet. However, such a scene didn't happen. There was nothing in the closet except clothes. Tang Yuyin suddenly bent down and peeped under the bed. There was no one hiding under the bed. Long Bing felt strange, but at the same time, she was relieved. What do you want? You know what I want. Tang Yuyin stared at Long Bing. Tell me, we sisters shouldn't have secrets. Where did you hide Charlotte? Who's your sister? Also, watch your words. I'm a single woman. Why would Charlotte hide in my place? Long Bing looked serious. Tang Yuyin suddenly rushed to the bathroom, but there was no one there. Then, she went into the study and other rooms, but still didn't find Charlotte. Where did Charlotte go? Just as Tang Yuyin was busy looking for him, Long Bing glanced out of the window. She saw Charlotte sliding down from the sewage pipe. She had never seen him in such a sorry state. At this moment, she couldn't help but laugh out loud. Chapter 554. The German engineering team had yet to arrive, but the Spring Festival was approaching. Charlotte and Shintu Tianin's wedding had yet to take place, but the media was already hyping it up. On one side was the richest woman in China, the queen of the Wanxiang Group. On the other side was the father of China's rifles, the dark horse of the military industry, Rema Group's chairman, and the hero in the hearts of millions of Chinese. Of course, the media would not let go of such a wedding. Not only the upcoming wedding, but Charlotte's childhood was also dug up. He went to primary school somewhere, high school somewhere, and he worked at some construction site. In short, there were some old events that Charlotte himself had forgotten, but those reporters dug them up and wrote about them in the newspapers and on the internet. When these stories were published in the newspapers, people found out that Charlotte was just a poor boy from an ordinary family. In order to support his sister's education, he even gave up the opportunity to enter Kyoto University. However, in a short span of 2 to 3 years, he suddenly rose to become a billionaire and a national hero that people took delight in talking about. It could be said that he gained both fame and fortune. His life was simply an inspirational drama, and naturally became a positive teaching material for many parents to educate their children. Of course, those reporters would not miss Shintu Tianin. But Shintu Tianin's story was much simpler. She was born with a silver spoon and studied abroad. After her father's accident, she took over the Wanxiang Group and became the queen of the Wanxiang Group. She did not have any scandals. If there was really a scandal about her, it would only be the fiancé and fiancé scene that she played with Charlotte during her difficult times. But now that she was going to marry Charlotte, how could that be considered a scandal? Such a pair of newlyweds, almost all the media used such a phrase, that is, the perfect couple. The wedding was set on the 30th of the 12th lunar month, which was chosen by Shintarun. On the 29th of the 12th lunar month, Charlotte appeared in Haizhu City. He wanted to light a stick of incense for his mother before the wedding to inform her. This was also a custom in his hometown. Xia Shui also followed Charlotte to the cemetery. She held a bouquet of flowers, while Charlotte held a large bag of incense, money, and some sacrificial items bought from the incense shop, such as paper clothes and shoes. The brother and sister came to a grave. Xia Shui sent flowers, and Charlotte burned incense, candles, paper, and money. Mom, brother and I came to see you. Xia Shui's voice was full of sadness. Xia Lei said while burning the joss paper, Mom, Xiao Xue has grown up. She was admitted to Kyoto University. Her grades are very good. I'm also good. You don't have to worry about us. Mom, my brother is very promising now. He is now the chairman of the Lima Group, and he is also a national hero of our country. You will be happy in heaven. Xia Shui's eyes were filled with tears, but there was a smile on her mouth. After burning the paper, Charlotte knelt on the ground and kowtowed to his mother. Mom, I'm getting married tomorrow. It's a pity that you won't be able to drink your wife's tea. But it doesn't matter. I'll bring her back during the Spring Festival. She'll kowtow to you and offer you tea. What do you think? A gust of wind blew, and the pine tree beside the grave swayed, making a rustling sound. This voice seemed to be his mother's response. The sound of the wind made Charlotte miss his mother, and the corners of his eyes became moist. The most painful thing in the world is to be separated by life and death, to have a son raise his parents, but they are not around. If Dad is still here, he will be happy for you. Xia Shui said. Daddy. Charlotte was about to say something, but he swallowed his words. Brother, what do you want to say? Xia Shui looked at Charlotte. Charlotte said, I still don't have any news about him, but I believe he must still be alive in this world. Xia Shui shook her head and said sadly, Brother, you don't have to comfort me. I know the hope that Dad is still alive is too slim. I'm used to living without Dad, but sometimes I still think of him, and then my heart aches. Charlotte patted Xia Shui's shoulder and said nothing. If his father, Xia Changhe, was just an ordinary person and not a freelance agent of the FA organization, he would definitely tell Xia Shui the truth. But she was a college student. Telling her the truth would only bring her unknown danger, and there would be no benefits. Brother, sister-in-law should actually come back with us. She should kowtow to my mother. Xia Shui said. Charlotte said, Your sister-in-law is not an ordinary person. There will be many distinguished guests coming to our wedding tomorrow. She has to call those people, send the wedding invitations, and manage the wedding. You have to understand her. Didn't I say that I'll bring her back to kowtow to Mom during the spring festival? Xia Shui slightly raised the corner of her mouth. You only know how to protect sister-in-law. My future life will be miserable. Charlotte smiled. What nonsense are you talking about in front of Mom? Your sister-in-law is well-educated and reasonable. She won't bully you. If she bullies you, I'll beat her up. Che, you're lying. I don't believe you can bear to beat sister-in-law. But you'll definitely beat me up. If you don't listen, of course I'll beat you up. You see, you're about to show your true colors. Xia Shui frowned. Mom, did you hear that? Brother is bullying me. The breeze was gentle, and the pine trees swayed. The brother and sister quarreled in front of the grave, which added a bit of joy to the place. If the brother and sister's mother was in heaven, she would be happy to see this scene. At this time, a middle-aged woman walked on the road of the cemetery. She was dressed very ordinarily, but her figure was very tall and provocative. She walked toward the brother and sister, still chewing gum in her mouth. A middle-aged woman chewing gum? Charlotte's heart suddenly raised a trace of vigilance. His left eye jumped slightly and locked on the middle-aged woman's face. In the next second, he saw the face of a white woman. When he saw the face clearly, he was stunned for a moment. The woman slowed down her pace. Little Shui, your sister Rui invited us to her house for dinner. You drive my car back first and help her take care of things. Charlotte said. Xia Shui said, I still want to stay here with my mom. Isn't it good if I go back with you? Be obedient and go back. Charlotte's tone became stern. I'll go back. Give me the key. Xia Shui angrily reached out her hand to ask for the key. Charlotte handed the key to Xia Shui and watched her leave. The woman passed by Xia Shui and went straight to Charlotte's side. She squatted down in front of another grave and slowly placed a bunch of flowers she brought. Yelena, what are you doing here? Charlotte whispered. Where's my dad? Your dad is also here. You will see him soon, said Yelena. Charlotte raised his head and looked down the hillside, but he only saw Xia Shui walking angrily. He didn't see his father, Xia Changhe. He then moved his gaze to the hillside. Soon, he saw Xia Changhe standing in a green pine forest. Xia Changhe just stood there and didn't come over. Yelena put a satellite phone next to Charlotte. Your dad said that for your safety, he can only meet you like this. You talk to him. Charlotte picked up the satellite phone. On the other side, Xia Changhe also took out a satellite phone. Dad, when did you come back? It's been a while. I've been waiting for you in Haiju. I knew you would come to burn incense for your mother, so I came here in advance to wait for you. It was Xia Changhe's voice. Dad, I'm getting married tomorrow. I know. Bless you. Charlotte smiled. Thank you, Dad. I can't bring Shinatianin to offer you tea, but I believe there will be a day. Didn't you hear it? I only bless you. Dad, what do you mean? Don't you like Tianin? If she wasn't so ambitious, I would have nothing to say. I came to see you today to give you a good scolding. Dad, I'm getting married tomorrow. Why are you scolding me? You went to Japan, knowing that it was Gu Qian's trap, but in order to destroy the evidence of Tianyin, you actually disregarded your own life and went to see Gu Qian. Do you know that you are facing the FA organization's top assassin, Yamosa? Have you ever thought that if you die, how can you face your mother? How can you face me? Also, if you die, leaving Xiao Shui alone, who will take care of her? Charlotte wanted to refute, but he spat the words back. It was reasonable for his father to scold him. Besides, his father scolded him like this because of his care and love for him. Xiao Chang sighed. Forget it. You are going to marry Tianyin tomorrow. I can't stop you from being with her. However, I have to remind you that you have to control her. Don't let her ambition grow. Otherwise, you will be involved. At that time, you won't be able to get away even if you want to. Charlotte nodded. I know, Dad. Also, this is China. The FA organization and the CIA don't dare to act openly, but this doesn't mean they won't act. The secret on you is too important to them. They won't let it go. You have to pay attention to your safety and Xia Shui. Well, I know. Now, tell me about your project, X Secret Gold. What's the progress? Charlotte said, I found 22 pieces of ancient alloy at the bottom of Okinawa. I only need one piece to make a complete box. However, the newly found pointer is pointing to the sky. I can't find the best piece. At present, someone is flying around the world with that compass. I am also waiting for the results. How could this be? I don't know. This matter can't be rushed. Let's wait. By the way, Dad, I want to tell you good news. What good news? You are going to be a grandfather. Boy, do you want to tell me that Jiang Rui is pregnant with your child? Xiao Chang has said with a smile. Yes, how do you know? I have been in Haizhu for so long. How can I not know this? Charlotte smiled. You are going to be a grandfather. Are you happy? If it is true, of course I am happy. But I am afraid you are happy for nothing. What do you mean? Xiao Chang has said, I asked Yelena to investigate. Jiang Rui is not pregnant. Her period was only 10 days late. She had also gone for a checkup, and she was not pregnant. Yelena took a picture of the hospital's examination report. That was a misunderstanding. Charlotte was stunned on the spot. He was ready to be a father, but the truth of the matter was like this, which made him somewhat unable to accept. Well, I have to go. Take care. Xiao Chang'e hung up the phone and then disappeared into the pine forest. Yelena also stood up and took the satellite phone from Charlotte's hand. When she left, she did not forget to tease Charlotte. Do you want to be a father? Then you have to continue to work hard. Charlotte looked at her gloomily and did not even say goodbye. As he watched Yelena leave, a question popped up in his mind. I've been with Tianyin for several months, and she's barely used condom. Under normal circumstances, she should have been pregnant a long time ago. But why isn't she pregnant? Finally, Rui is pregnant, but it is a misunderstanding. Long Bing and Anina have also done it with me, and most of the time, they did not wear condoms. So even if Tianyin and Rui have problems, is there also a problem with Long Bing and Anina? If it is not their problem, then Charlotte did not dare to think further. Chapter 555. The airport at night was still very busy. Planes landing and taking off, people rushing to and leaving the airport, together painted a bustling and busy picture. It was like a dream that wasn't real, and people could get lost in it. Jiang Rui sent Charlotte to the waiting hall. She wanted to say something to Charlotte, but when she saw Xia Shui next to Charlotte, she felt that it was inconvenient and couldn't say it. Charlotte said, Little Shui, you go in first. I want to say a few words to your sister Rui. Xia Shui looked at Charlotte and looked at Jiang Rui. She said curiously, What do you want to say? Can't I listen? Charlotte was her brother, and Jiang Rui was the big sister next door who watched her grow up. She was also half a sister. When her brother and sister talked, couldn't she listen as a sister? This was probably what Xia Shui couldn't understand. She felt strange. Charlotte had some headaches. He didn't know how to explain. Jiang Rui was still a little quick-witted. She said, It's about returning the money. My dad borrowed a lot of money from your brother for his treatment. I want to tell him that I have to wait for a while to pay it back. Then, she said this is quite awkward. Xia Shui said, it turns out to be this matter. What is there to return? Our family is not short of money now. Sister Rui, you and Uncle and Ani have helped us a lot. Now that you are in trouble, we should also help you. Jiang Rui said with a smile. How can that be? Xia Shui blinked at Jiang Rui. Sister Rui, you don't know what my brother gave my sister-in-law's betrothal gift, right? That is a gold brick worth 1 billion yuan. My sister-in-law used him to pile up a gold wall. So, the money you owe her is nothing. You don't have to return it. Really, you don't have to return it. Jiang Rui's expression suddenly became gloomy. She had been looking forward to her wedding with Charlotte since she was a young girl. She had never dreamed of a billion-dollar betrothal gift or a luxurious wedding. She only wanted an ordinary ceremony and friends and family to attend her and Charlotte's wedding. However, the man she had been waiting for was going to hold a wedding with another woman. This feeling was not good at all. Charlotte glared at Xia Shui. Only then did Xia Shui wake up. Jiang Rui liked her brother since she was a child, but she talked about her brother and Shinta Tianin's wedding in front of Jiang Rui. Wasn't this rubbing salt on her wound in front of her? I will go in first. Xia Shui felt guilty in her heart, so she made it convenient for Charlotte and Jiang Rui. As soon as Xia Shui left, Jiang Rui's tears flowed down. Forgive me. I can't attend your wedding. Charlotte said, if you want to go, it's fine. Do you want to go with me? Jiang Rui smiled bitterly. What am I going to do? Cry my nose? Shinta Tianin is such a smart woman. She will find out. If I go, I will only bring trouble to you. I better not go. Charlotte's heart was soft. He reached out and wanted to hold Jiang Rui in his arms to comfort her. Jiang Rui took a step back. Don't. There's so many people here. If someone takes a picture, you and I will report it. Charlotte was stunned on the spot. Jiang Rui's words made sense. He was now a celebrity. Every move he made would inevitably be noticed by people. There were so many people here. It was hard to guarantee that no one was taking pictures of him with their mobile phones. If he hugged a woman in a place like the waiting hall, such a thing would definitely be reported in the newspaper, and there would be no lack of media hype. Jiang Rui changed the topic and stammered. My period is coming again. What? Charlotte's heart was in a mess. Period. Jiang Rui bit her cherry lips. It was a misunderstanding. I'm not pregnant. I'm sorry, Charlotte said softly. Why are you apologizing to me? You didn't do anything wrong. It doesn't matter if you didn't get pregnant this time. We are so young, and we will definitely get pregnant in the future. A smile appeared on Jiang Rui's face. Go ahead. Come to me after your honeymoon with Shinta Tianin. I will wait for you. As long as we work hard, we will definitely have a child. Charlotte also smiled. You go first or I go first? Jiang Rui looked at Charlotte lovingly. Wait for me. I can't give you a title, but I can also give you happiness. Charlotte said, then turned and walked to the VIP channel. Jiang Rui stood there quietly, watching Charlotte slowly walk away and finally disappeared from her sight. She kept thinking about Xia Lei's last words in her heart. At this moment, she was blissful. Entering the airport, Charlotte boarded the Boeing 747 private jet that Shun Turin gave him. The captain was called Chen Xiao. He was very young and handsome. The flight attendants on the plane were all men, and all of them were handsome and tall. These flight attendants and pilots were also selected by Shun Turin for him. Even their salaries were received from the Wanxiang Group. The Boeing 747 took off from the airport and flew in the direction of the capital. Haizhu City gradually disappeared from the view. Xia Shui retracted her gaze from the window and said with a smile, Brother, your father-in-law is really worried about you. You see, this plane is full of handsome men. In the future, you can't even fool around. Charlotte rolled his eyes at Xia Shui. You're getting more and more outrageous. You actually made such a joke with your brother. Brother, you and Shinta Tianin are married. Are you happy? Xia Shui looked at Charlotte with a little speculation in her eyes. Charlotte said, Of course I'm happy. Then do you like this arrangement too? Xia Shui lowered her voice. This plane of handsome men, I feel like I entered a gay playing party. Charlotte, In the past, Xia Shui absolutely couldn't say such words. In the eyes of Charlotte, she was definitely a well-behaved girl, quiet, elegant, kind, and lovely. But now the well-behaved girl had grown up, and she had her own understanding and views on people and things. This was an example. Shen Turin sent a plane to her brother, but he arranged a plane of men for her brother. This was obviously because he was worried that Charlotte would be seduced by other women. Shen Turin naturally had his own standpoint, but when she looked at the matter from Xia Lei's point of view, it was a completely different feeling. Her brother was the father of rifles in China. He was a hero in the hearts of thousands of Chinese people. Moreover, although her brother wasn't as rich as Shen Tianyin, he was also a billionaire. With Shen Turin's arrangement, not only would her brother lose face, but some people with ulterior motives would even make a big fuss and use this matter to make fun of her brother. Actually, I always think that Sister Rui is the daughter-in-law of our Xia family. She not only loves you, but also me. As Xia Shui said this, she thought of Jiang Rui again. Charlotte smiled bitterly. You don't understand the world of adults. Xia Shui raised her lips. I'm already 20 years old. Am I still a child? Well, you are an adult, but you don't have to analyze this matter deeply. Some things are actually very simple. Don't be so sensitive. Your sister-in-law is a very good person, and her father is also a very good person. In the future, we will be a family. As a family, we should live in harmony and understand each other more. Well, this is your choice. I am your sister. No matter what choice you make, I will support you. In the future, when I choose my other half, you have to support me. Xia Shui said. And, are you in love? Charlotte stared at Xia Shui and was a little nervous. Which family's kid is it? Xia Shui smiled. Look at your expression. Don't worry. With the lesson from last time, I won't be cheated again. Which family's kid is it? Charlotte was a little anxious and said, You know your brother's ability. Even if you don't say it, I can still find out. Okay, you're good. He is my senior, majoring in economics. His hometown is in Sichuan in the mountains. His family is ordinary, but he is optimistic and diligent. He has a full scholarship and works 2 jobs. His tuition and living expenses are all paid by himself. Not only that, but he also sends money to his family. Very capable, right? Hee. Xia Shui smiled very sweetly. That's really good. What's his name? I can't tell you now. I'm afraid you will scare him. He still doesn't know my identity. I told him that my family is also very poor. Xia Shui said, in the real-life version of a romance drama, the daughter of a rich family fell in love with a poor boy. But in consideration of the poor boy's self-esteem, she deliberately said that her family was also very poor. Charlotte was a little speechless. What is his name? If you don't say, I will let Lu Xing check. I give up. His name is Lu Zijing. Lu Zijing, this name is not bad. What stage are you two in? Charlotte's eyes were shining. Brother, this is my private matter. Can you not ask? Let's talk about your wedding with sister-in-law. You have to tell sister-in-law that when she throws the bouquet, she must throw it to me. If you don't say it, I will let Lu Sheng check. Xia Shui rolled her eyes at Charlotte. Well, let me tell you, we only developed to the stage of reading books and drinking tea together. And we also watched a few movies, but they were all in the school's auditorium. Charlotte breathed a sigh of relief. I'm just asking casually. Do you have a photo of him? Is he handsome? Let me see. Xia Shui took out her cell phone and showed a photo to Charlotte. The young man in the photo was sunny and handsome. He smiled very calmly. Although his skin was a little dark, it matched his strong figure. His body shape and his skin made him look like a professional athlete. He also had a simple atmosphere of a young farmer. It was very natural and not pretentious at all. This person is not bad. Brother, he is about to graduate, and he is studying economics. He can help you. How about you give him a chance to come to your company to try? Xia Shui looked at Charlotte eagerly. Charlotte had a feeling of being fooled. He had been pressing Xia Shui for information about Lu Zijing, but he didn't expect his sister to use this request as the end of this conversation. Xia Shui snorted. If you don't agree, I will go with him to the mountains to feed the goats. He said that if he can't find a good job, he will start his own business. If he wants to feed the goats, I will also feed the goats with him in the future. Charlotte sighed. A grown girl can't be kept at home. Okay, let him come to my company. I can also test his ability and character. You are a woman of my Xia family. Only the best man can match you. Xia Shui said, No, I am not my sister-in-law. I don't need the best man in the world. I just want a man that I like, loves me, and can give me happiness. Charlotte was silent. A question suddenly popped up in his heart. If he didn't take the AE capsule, he wouldn't be so good now, and he wouldn't have his current achievements. Would his wife, Shinta Tianyin, fall in love with him? Regardless of poverty or sickness, would she accompany him through his life? Chapter 556. Shinta Ren originally wanted Shinta Tianyin and Charlotte to return to Haizhu to hold the wedding. After Charlotte and Shinta Tianyin got their marriage certificate, he even asked Wanxiang Group to start the relevant preparations at the hotel in Haizhu. However, this plan was eventually rejected by Shinta Tianyin. Haizhu was just a small place, while Jingdu was the capital of China. Most of the political and business friends that she and Charlotte knew were in Jingdu. For the convenience of these people, holding the wedding in Jingdu became a necessary choice. The venue for the wedding was the Jingdu International Convention and Exhibition Center, which Shinta Tianyin had booked. The main venue of the Jingdu International Convention and Exhibition Center also became the place where she and Charlotte held the ceremony. Before the new year, there was a celebrity who held a wedding in an exhibition center in Shanghai, which cost 200 million yuan. That wedding caused a sensation all over the country and made countless people envious. The wedding of the father of rifles and the richest woman in China cost 1 billion yuan, which was far more luxurious and attracted more attention than the celebrity couple's wedding. That celebrity couple was only two of the many celebrity guests in this unprecedented wedding. Not only celebrities, but also big shots in the business world. These people were usually the focus of the media, but now they became the foil for Shinta Tianyin and Charlotte. On the red carpet, a celebrity couple walked confidently and calmly on the red carpet to the main venue of the wedding. The electronic flash flashed. Isn't that the mainland's best actor Huang Bai? He actually came to this wedding. On one side of the red carpet, an intern reporter said in surprise, You have to know, this is Shinta Tianyin's wedding. Wanxiang Group also has its own company in the entertainment industry and has investments. If Shinta Tianyin wants to get married, those celebrities would be eager to attend the wedding. It's easy to find actors, but there are only a few companies that have the ability to make blockbusters. Once you understand this point, you won't be surprised as to why so many celebrities are attending Shinta Tianyin's wedding. A reporter who looked like a senior said as he passed on his knowledge to his little follower. But why are there only guests from Shinta Tianyin's side, but no one from Shinta Tianyin's side? I'm not sure about that. Maybe Charlotte is a very low-key person. His family and friends are also very low-key. Similar conversations like this were not the only ones happening here. There were many other places as well. Not only the reporters, but many of the guests were also discussing in private. The guests of the women's side were like a group of bright stars, taking the limelight, while the guests of the men's side were pitifully few. Those who came were also Charlotte's subordinates, such as Qin Xiang, Guan Lingshan, and the executives of Rima Group like Zhou Xiaohong. As for his celebrity friends and business friends, there was not a single one of them. Such an embarrassing situation not only appeared on the red carpet, but also in the main venue of the wedding. On the right side of the main venue, the guest area of the women's side was full of people, and all the big shots were talking and laughing. On the left side of the main venue, there were only a dozen people in the guest area of the men's side, and almost all of them were Charlotte's subordinates. When the guests of both sides were compared, the men's side suddenly looked much shabbier. The only thing that won glory for the men's side was the golden wall in the main venue. The only thing that brought glory to the groom was the golden wall in the main hall. It was worth 1 billion and was extremely eye-catching. It was the only golden wall that won glory for the men's side, but there were also people who made sarcastic remarks. Why are there so few people on the men's side? Isn't it too shabby? That golden wall can't be real, right? A celebrity said. What kind of distinguished friends can a person who works in a construction site have? For the men, They must have friends and relatives, but they are probably the workers in the construction site. Can those people come to such a place? So, I think for this reason, the men would rather have fewer people than to invite his friends and relatives. Sai, a person who works in a construction site, actually married our goddess. What a joke. I still can't understand why Tianyin married Charlotte. Another celebrity said. That Charlotte is indeed capable, but people who grew up in that kind of environment can't be that high. He must have an inferiority complex when he is with Shinda Tianyin. Moreover, people who grow up in that kind of environment will have an inexplicably strong self-esteem, and they will be very sensitive. I'm willing to bet that this is an example. The man used 1 billion yuan worth of gold bricks to build a golden wall, just to make people not look down on him. However, he neglected the fact that the level of his guests is too low, and they are pitifully few. So, that golden wall not only didn't bring glory to him, but also became evidence of his inferiority complex, a big boss in the real estate industry said. President Wang, is right. These discussions occurred in the guest area of the woman's side, and there were all kinds of comments. Charlotte was known as the father of the rifle, and was a hero in the hearts of millions of Chinese. However, these elites were not included among the millions of Chinese. In this realistic society, the people who cared about the fate of the country and were even willing to sacrifice their lives in times of danger were mostly ordinary people. The rapid rise of China in the past 30 years was also the result of the blood and sweat of these ordinary people. Charlotte was a hero in the eyes of ordinary people, but this did not mean that everyone recognized his achievements. People were divided into different levels, and this was the rule since ancient times. Charlotte rose from the ranks of construction workers. He was the idol of those workers and the hero of ordinary people. However, in the eyes of these big stars and tycoons, he was an exception. In the world of these people, he did not receive praise, but doubt and even mockery. In the guest area of the woman's side, there were 2 guests who were neither big stars nor big shots in the business world. These 2 guests were Ren Wenxiang, and the other was Su Lang. Ren Wenxiang was able to appear here because he was following the real estate tycoon with the surname Wang. He was now the assistant of the real estate tycoon. As for Su Lang, it was because of Su Jingyi. Su Jingyi had some friendship with Shun Turin, and after receiving Shun Turin's invitation, Su Lang also came with Su Jingyi. Amidst the discussions about the man's side, these 2 former opponents of Charlotte met. Hey, isn't this Brother Su? Ren Wenxiang greeted first. Dressed in a well-ironed suit, he was still as handsome as ever. Haha, what a coincidence. Brother Ren, I heard that you're doing well in Director Wang's company. You really live up to the old saying that gold will shine wherever it is. Su Lang said with a smile. Gold? Haha. Do you see the gold wall that Charlotte placed here? That's real gold. Ren Wenxiang's gaze shifted to the gold wall. There was a disdainful smile on his face, but his heart was filled with envy and jealousy. So what? Su Lang said disdainfully. Even if he piled up a mountain of gold, he is just a nouveau riche. He is not worthy of Shinda Tianyin at all. Did you see the man's guests? They are all from the Rema Group. Charlotte doesn't even have a friend of a higher level. How shameful. Ah, that's right. There are some things that money can't buy. I feel that this wedding is the wedding of a queen and a landlord. Charlotte is indeed rich now, but he is still a lowly person. He doesn't have any noble blood in him. Sigh. I really don't understand why Tong Tianyin wants to marry him. Isn't this like sticking a flower on a pile of cow dung? There's another saying that is a good cabbage is taken by a pig. Ha ha. Su Lang laughed very happily. However, at this moment, a group of Arabs wearing white robes and headscarves walked down the red carpet. Suddenly, the MC shouted, "The Prince of the United Arab Emirates, Prince Mohammed Aziz, and his wife, Afariam Washali, congratulate you." The guest from the Middle East. The MC's voice suddenly froze the cold words in the female guest area. Many people were guessing which party such distinguished guests were from. When did Tianyin make such a friend? It was Su Lang's voice. Ren Wenxiang said, "It must be the Wanxiang group who is invested in the Middle East." Could it be a friend of that boy Charlotte? That's the prince. However, at this moment, the main character appeared. Before, Tianyin had been greeting the female guests, and he had become a foil. It was not until now that he stepped out of the role of foil. Under the watchful eyes of the crowd, Xiao Lei calmly went up to greet him. With a smile on his face, he said in Arabic, "Your Highness the Caliph, welcome." "Oh, my friend, you're welcome. I wish you well." Prince Caliph took the initiative to give Charlotte a hug and patted Charlotte's shoulder affectionately. Then he introduced his wife to Charlotte. Charlotte nodded slightly and did not look at Ephraim Washali. He just said kindly, "I wish you peace." "I also wish you peace. May Allah bless you and your wife," Ephraim Washali said. That was how Arabia was. People of the same sex could hug and even kiss on the cheek, but people of the opposite sex could not have any physical contact. It was impolite even to look at each other. As soon as Prince Caliph and his wife, Ephraim Washali, entered the male guest area and took their seats, the MC's voice sounded again. "Ambassador Rodriguez of Venezuela and his wife, Kaneman, congratulate you." Charlotte greeted them with a smile. This time, there was no sound in the female guest area. However, this was just the beginning. "Ambassador Di Marina of Argentina and his wife congratulate you. Ambassador Alberto of Brazil and Mr. Neymar congratulate you." General Colombian, one by one, the important VIPs appeared and gave their blessings, which also calmed the scene. Everyone watched as Charlotte shook hands and exchanged greetings with the people who could usually only be seen in the news. In this short amount of time, not to mention them, even Tianyin became a foil and did not stand out. The people in the female guest area, celebrities and businessmen, looked down on Charlotte. They felt that they were of noble status and had so-called aristocratic blood. They also thought that they had brought glory to Tianyin and made the wedding dignified. However, the arrival of the important guests from the male side was equivalent to giving them a loud slap in the face. With their self-righteous status and so-called aristocratic blood, compared to these people, it was like comparing a humble house to a high-rise building. Chapter 557. An Arab prince, an ambassador from a foreign country, and a world-class star player. How could these people appear here to attend the wedding of a boy who rose from a construction site? This was a question that troubled all the guests in the guest area of the bride's side. The answer to this question was actually not complicated. It was right in front of them. It was Charlotte. Charlotte was the answer. Charlotte established the Thunder Horse military factory and developed the world-famous XL 2500 sniper rifle and Gale assault rifle. Countries in the Middle East and South America had a strong demand for these two weapons. This was also because Europe and the United States continued to suppress the Middle East and South America. Take Argentina, for example. After the Falklands War, Argentina and the United Kingdom could not obtain advanced weapons from Europe and the United States. Therefore, Argentina became a friend of China. The two countries had extensive cooperation in both the economic and military fields. Argentina needed China's weapons, and Charlotte's Thunder Horse military factory was a dark horse in China's military industry. In this environment, it was not surprising that the Argentine ambassador appeared here. In fact, Charlotte did not know all of these congratulatory guests. He just sent invitations based on the customer relationship of the Thunder Horse military factory. As soon as he sent out these invitations, they all responded and came. Brazil, in particular, not only did the ambassador come, but they also specially invited Barcelona's international star player, Neymar, to attend his wedding. He and Neymar did not know each other. They did this to express their sincerity and, at the same time, to convey the signal that they wanted to cooperate with him. This was the wedding of Charlotte and Tianyin. In fact, it was also a gathering for Charlotte to expand his social circle and establish contacts. At this moment, Charlotte shone. No one said that he came from construction site, and no one dared to ridicule him as not worthy of Tianyin. In fact, at this moment, Tianyin was just a foil to Charlotte. She could not cover up the brilliance released from Charlotte. The richest woman in China was already like this. How could the guests of the bride's side dare to belittle themselves? Many people were already thinking about a problem, and that was Shinta Tianin's taste. The man she liked, the man she was going to marry. How could he be an ordinary person? Shinta Tianin wanted the best man in the world. There was only one man who could meet her requirements, and that was Charlotte. Back then, which of the men who had pursued Shinta Tianin were not the cream of the crop? The cream of the crop? Gu Kawu from the Gu family, and An Soo Hyun from South Korea. These two men had money, looks, education, power, and everything else. However, Shinta Tianin never liked them. He only liked Charlotte. Gu Kawu and Xiaoxian had already sunk in the river of time, while Charlotte continued to increase his height. Now, looking at Charlotte's achievements, who dared to question Shinta Tianin's choice of men? This kid, in the guest area of the bride's side, Ren Wenxiang wanted to say something sarcastic to Charlotte, but he swallowed it. What was left in his heart was envy and jealousy, as well as admiration, which he did not want to admit. In the beginning, when Charlotte was still starting his own business, he appeared between Charlotte and Peaceful. He used his superior qualifications to win Peaceful's parents' favor, which made Peaceful's parents look at Charlotte coldly. Now, Charlotte was standing at a height that he had to look up to, and he was just a senior employee working for someone else. Why did he have to mock Charlotte? Ren Wenxiang felt that way, and Su Lang felt the same way. In the beginning, he looked down on Charlotte and fought with Charlotte. He was considered an opponent, but now he did not even have the right to be an opponent of Charlotte. However, just as all the guests thought this was the end, a large group of people walked down the red carpet. The MC did not dare announce it, because a few agents from 101 innings, wearing black suits and earphones, had already asked him to leave. There was no other reason, because the people walking down the red carpet were a group of people from the military, as well as people from the equipment department. Ling Hao and Shi Boren were among this group of people. These people came to attend Charlotte's wedding, and they did not want people to announce their identities. Long Bing and Tang Yuyin were among them. The two women had completely different styles. Long Bing was wearing a black women's suit. The well-tailored suit outlined her graceful curves. Her breasts were curvaceous, and the places that should be plump were firm. The places that should be slender were slender and soft. Coupled with her unique ice-cold temperament, she gave off a dangerous and unapproachable feeling. However, her sexiness was alluring, making people want to get close to her and conquer her. Tang Yuyin wore her favorite navy blue cheongsam. Her breasts were full, her legs were long, and her butt was tight and plump. Coupled with her exquisite and beautiful face, she seemed to be a socialite from the Republic of China. In terms of looks, she was sexy and beautiful. In terms of temperament, she was noble and elegant. Sexiness and nobility blended perfectly on her, and she had a mature and attractive charm. If one really wanted to be picky about aristocratic bloodlines, then the blood of the Tang sect flowing in her body was the real ancient aristocratic bloodline. And the aristocratic temperament brought by this ancient bloodline was not something that rich people nowadays could disguise with money. When Ling Hao, Shi Boren, and those big shots from the military came into sight, Charlotte was very happy. When he saw Long Bing, he was actually very happy, but he was a little worried that her contact with Shinta Tianin would be seen by the smart Shinta Tianin. Only when he saw Tang Yuyin, he felt a dull pain in his head. But since she was here, he couldn't tell her that she was not welcome here. Could he? Charlotte braced himself and greeted them with a smile. Brother Ling, welcome, welcome. Hello, Boss Shi. Hello, senior officials. Shinta Tianin accompanied Charlotte and also greeted the distinguished guests with a smile. These people were the real big shots. If it weren't for her husband, Charlotte, she wouldn't have had the chance to know them, let alone become friends with them. Therefore, even when facing these big shots, she was very careful and polite and didn't dare to be negligent. When greeting the distinguished guests with Charlotte, Shinta Tianin glanced at Long Bing and Tang Yuyin from the corner of his eyes. Brother Xia, today is a good day for you. Come and drink with us later. Ling Hao said with a smile. Of course, of course. I will drink with you, Brother Ling, and senior officials. Charlotte said politely. Several people from the equipment department and the military shook hands with Charlotte and chatted happily. He was a man who made the military of China proud, and the China boy who made the whole world look at China with new eyes. They had no reason to dislike him, and they were willing to give him face. That was also the reason why they came uninvited. In fact, Charlotte didn't even send them an invitation, but they came anyway. You brat. Sherborne's big hand fell on Charlotte's shoulder, and he said with a smile, "Don't be timid now that you are married. There are still some things waiting for you." Charlotte knew what he was talking about. He smiled and said, "Boss, sure, don't worry. I will drink with you later." Sherborne suddenly moved close to Charlotte's ear and said in a voice that Shinta couldn't hear, "Brat, you don't need to arrange a honeymoon. Germany has sent a message that their engineering team is coming. You have to prepare to go to Germany. Well, this time, you take Tang Yuyin with you." "This, give me face." Charlotte nodded reluctantly. Sherborne's face was made of iron. How could he not give it? He did give face, but what would happen after that? Charlotte didn't dare to think about it. But he could foresee that for the upcoming trip to Germany, he had to prepare some medicine for headaches. After agreeing to Sherborne, Charlotte subconsciously glanced at Tang Yuyin. Coincidentally, Tang Yuyin was also looking at Charlotte. Their gazes collided in the crowd, and there was a strange pause in their gazes. But at that moment, Tang Yuyin suddenly pursed her lips into a smile and even winked at Xia Lei. This gaze was filled with mischievousness and provocation. If it was at any other place, then Xia Lei wouldn't think much of it. However, it was at his and Shinta Tianin's wedding, so it was a completely different matter. He avoided Tang Yuyin's provocative eyes and looked at Shinta Tianin's reaction from the corner of his eye. Fortunately, Shinta Tianin was chatting with Ling Hao and didn't notice them. "This vixen, why isn't there a man to take her in?" Charlotte smiled bitterly in his heart. After greeting the big shots, Charlotte pulled Shinta Tianin and prepared to leave. He wasn't going to greet Long Bing and Tang Yuyin. These two women were two bombs to him, and if he wasn't careful, they would explode. He couldn't avoid them now, so he didn't dare to take the initiative to provoke them. "Isn't that Miss Long and Miss Tang? We should go and greet them." Shinta Tianin whispered in Charlotte's ear. Charlotte was stunned and said awkwardly, "Look at me, I was so busy that I forgot about them." "You're right, let's go and greet them." Although that was what he said, Xia Lei felt as if there was a herd of horses galloping madly in his heart. Well, I wish you a happy wedding." For some reason, seeing Shinta Tianin and Charlotte coming hand in hand, Long Bing, who was always calm, was a little nervous. "Haha," Tang Yin giggled like silver bells. "Brother Lei Zi, Sister Tianin, you two are really a match made in heaven." "Bless you." Even Long Bing couldn't help glancing at Tang Yuyin. She didn't make trouble. Did the sun rise from the west? "Hello, Miss Long, Miss Tang. Thank you for your blessings. There's so many people today, so please forgive me for not being a good host." Shinta Tianin was very polite. Charlotte said, "Well, Miss Long, Miss Tang, please take a seat. We'll have a drink with you later." Long Bing nodded lightly. Tang Yuyin said with a smile, "Of course you have to have a drink with us and apologize. You didn't send us an invitation for your wedding, so you must drink 3 glasses of wine as punishment." "Well, I actually sent an invitation. The person who sent the invitation must have made a mistake and sent it to your hometown," Charlotte said as he pulled Shinta Tianin away. Okay, do as you please. See you later." Long Bing's eyes were a little gloomy. Tang Yuyin also curled her lips. I don't know what he's thinking. What's so good about Shinta Tianin? She's just a boring woman. What does he like about her? She held Long Bing's hand. Bing, I actually think that you and Charlotte are the most compatible couple." Long Bing rolled her eyes. "What you want to say is that you and Charlotte are the most compatible couple, right? Why are you dragging me into this? We're just friends." You're just friends? Do you think I'm stupid? Are you smart? Do you remember the hair I found on your vest the last time I came to your house? I took it to someone to do a DNA test, and I got the results today. It's Charlotte's hair. You two are an adulterous couple. Disgusting. Long Bing, you want me to keep a secret? Don't think about leaving me on this trip to Germany. Tang Yuyin smiled sweetly. She looked at the back view of Charlotte and Shun Tu Tian walking hand in hand, and there was a voice in her heart. No one can take away what I, Tang Yuyin, want, unless I don't want it. But I want it, what can I do? He he he. Chapter 558. There is no doubt that Charlotte and Shunatianin's wedding was the grandest and most luxurious wedding in modern times, and it was also a unique wedding. In this wedding, spending 1 billion was a small matter, but the heavyweight guests who attended the wedding could not be bought with money. A very simple example would be a billionaire with a net worth of tens of billions of dollars. He could organize a wedding for his niece, but he would not be able to invite the princes and ambassadors, let alone the heavyweights of China. Before this, the female guest area was full of sarcastic remarks, ridicule, and sarcasm. But now, these discussions had changed. Oh my God, just how much face does this Xiaolei have? He actually invited an Arab prince and many ambassadors from other countries. My son is getting married, and I feel proud to invite a mayor. A guest said, Arabian princes and ambassadors are nothing. Didn't you see those soldiers? Those are all big shots. If they move, the ground will tremble a few times. A guest said, ridiculous, ridiculous. We were just talking about how he came from a grassroots background and didn't have any decent relatives or friends, but we didn't expect his relatives and friends to come and scare us to death. I just thought that the groom was taking advantage of the bride, but I didn't expect the bride to take advantage of the groom. Exactly. Shindatianin is rich, but what does Charlotte have? He has the ability and connections. With his ability, connections, and assets, sooner or later, he will surpass Shindatianin. That's right. Who said that Charlotte is not worthy of Shindatianin? Why are you looking at me? I didn't say that. Shindatianin is such a smart woman. How could she have bad taste in choosing a man? Let's not worry about it. These guests and these discussions were like the wind blowing over the wall, and the grass on the wall uniformly fell to the other side. It was also in the midst of these discussions that the wedding ceremony began. There were 2 ceremonies for Charlotte and Shintatianin. One was a Western-style ceremony requested by Shintatianin, which was presided over by a priest. After that, there was an Eastern traditional ceremony, which was to worship the heavens and the earth and worship the elders. This was requested by Charlotte. Deep down, he was actually a very traditional person. Nowadays, Western-style weddings were very popular. Very few people were holding traditional ceremonies, but he wanted a traditional ceremony. Good, ladies and gentlemen, the priest said, please take your places. The wedding is about to begin. The guests immediately quietened down. The Holy Wedding March began to play. Warm and romantic music rippled in every inch of the room, making people feel happy. The priest said loudly, hello, everyone. We are here today to attend the wedding of this man and this woman. He looked at Charlotte and Shintatiani. Which one of you thinks this wedding is illegal? Then he faced the guest area and asked, is there anyone here who thinks that their wedding is illegal? Just as the priest said this step by step, Ren Wenxiang, who was below the stage, actually had the urge to shout illegal in his heart. However, although he could make trouble for a while, what about after that? Shindatianin and Charlotte would not spare him. Shindatianin might be a little better, but Charlotte's means were unimaginable. The priest faced Charlotte. Well, Charlotte, are you willing to accept Shindatianin as your legal wife? Charlotte nodded. I am. The priest said again, Charlotte, whether your wife is rich or poor in the future, whether she is healthy or not, are you willing to be with her forever? Charlotte said, I am. The priest faced Shindatianin. Well, Shindatianin, are you willing to accept Charlotte as your legal husband? Shindatianin said, I am. The priest asked again, Shindatianin, whether your husband is rich or poor in the future, whether she is healthy or not, are you willing to be with her forever? Shintatiani nodded. His voice was full of tenderness. I am. The priest said, please put your wedding rings on the Bible. Shintatianin and Charlotte put their wedding rings on the Bible in the priest's hand. The priest said with a smile, please put the wedding rings on your partners. Charlotte put the wedding rings on Shintatianin, and Shinatianin also put the wedding rings on Charlotte. At this moment, the hearts of the two seemed to be connected. The priest said, "Well, I now announce that you are legally husband and wife. Groom, you may kiss your bride." Charlotte took off Shinatianin's wedding dress, held her in his arms, and kissed her cherry lips. Shinatianin closed her eyes. Her heart was full of shyness, happiness, sweetness, and tenderness. All the happy emotions exploded at this moment, making her the happiest woman in the world. At this moment, scenes of the past flashed in Charlotte's mind. He saw him moving bricks under the sun on the construction site, sweating profusely, and none of his 10 fingers were intact. He saw him working as an apprentice in the processing plant, learning how to weld, and being violently scolded by the master. He saw him tearfully tearing up his college admission letter so that Xia Shui could continue to go to school. He saw him chasing and fighting with Ma Xiaoan on the street, and Ma Xiaoan's laughter seemed to be in his ears. He saw him being ambushed by the UA Special Forces and CIB agents in Afghanistan, and he was trembling in the hail of bullets. These were all things that he had experienced personally, as if they happened yesterday. All kinds of ups and downs were churning in his heart. Life was like a play. Plays had highs and lows, and life also had ups and downs. In the beginning, when Charlotte was still working on the construction site, using his blood and sweat to earn money for Xia Shui to go to school, those people who rolled their eyes at him, who would have thought that he would have today? If he hadn't experienced those hardships, how could Charlotte cherish what he had today? If God made you suffer, it must be a test for you to rise. Only by experiencing the bitterness of bitterness can one become a superior person. In the men's guest area, Tang Yuyin watched Charlotte kiss Shinatianin. Her heart was sour, and it was very unpleasant. She touched Long Bing's arm. "Bing, if he kissed you at this moment, how would you feel?" Long Bing glanced at Tang Yuyin. "Tang Yuyin, I advise you to give up. He is already married. Don't cause trouble for him." "How righteous of you to say that." Tang Yuyin rolled her eyes at Long Bing, leaned close to her ear, and said in a low voice, "You have already cheated on Charlotte. You were trying to poach Shinatianin, and now you are telling me to give up? Don't you feel embarrassed? Charlotte and I are just ordinary friends." Long Bing also leaned close to Tang Yuyin's ear. "Don't use your evidence to scare me. Let me tell you, while we were talking, I had already asked my people to go to the laboratory to burn the things you took away, and the test results have been changed. If you want to threaten me or ruin the marriage between Charlotte and Shinatianin, you have to show substantial evidence, right? Otherwise, you can think of a way to get something from Charlotte." Tang Yuyin, you want too much. He can't give you really. Then what do you want?" Long Bing's lips moved, and she was about to speak, but her eyes suddenly moved to a corner of the men's guest area, and then stopped on the face of an old man. "Why is he here? Who did you say is here?" Tang Yuyin asked curiously. She was about to follow Long Bing's line of sight to look for the person, but Long Bing retracted her gaze. At this time, the second part of the wedding began. The MC, who was dressed in traditional clothes, held a microphone and said the opening words and blessings loudly. Charlotte and Shinatianin, who had changed into traditional clothes, also returned to the side of the guests. On the stage, under the golden wall, there were 4 armchairs made of yellow rosewood. Shintarin sat on the armchair on the right, waiting for the ceremony to begin. "Bride and groom, first bow to heaven and earth," the MC sang. Charlotte and Shinatianin bowed to heaven and earth, kowtowing again and again. "Bride and groom, second bow to heaven and earth," the MC sang. Charlotte and Shinatianin walked in front of Shintarin and prepared to kneel. Everyone's eyes were focused on Charlotte, and some people were already discussing why Charlotte's parents did not attend the wedding. If there was one regret in Xia Lei's wedding, it would be that his father couldn't attend his wedding, and he didn't even have an elder who could kneel and salute him. However, at this moment, an old man's voice suddenly sounded. "Wait, this voice!" Charlotte suddenly turned to look, and when he saw the face of the person, he was suddenly stunned. The person walking toward him was none other than his master, Liang Zhengchun. Liang Xiao's father. After Liang Xiao's identity was exposed, Liang Zhengchun also went to the United States. Now he was back, and under such an occasion, Charlotte did not know why Liang Zhengchun was here, but when he saw Liang Zhengchun, he could not help but think of his first woman, Liang Xiao. After all, Liang Xiao was the woman he had loved deeply, and he could not forget her as if it was something unimportant. Shinta Tianyin obviously knew who Charlotte's first woman was, and how could she not know who Charlotte's master was? When she saw Liang Zhengchun walking over, she was immediately confused. She looked at Charlotte and asked, "Hubby, why is he here?" Charlotte smiled bitterly. "I don't know either." Liang Zhengchun blinked and walked over with a smile on his face. Charlotte went up to him and said, "Master, you wanted to say, why are you here?" But it was not appropriate to say that in public. A master was like a father, and his disciple did not give his master an invitation to his wedding. There would definitely be a lot of negative comments. Therefore, Charlotte could not ask such a question, although he really wanted to know the answer. Liang Zhengchun patted Charlotte's shoulder and said, "Lazy, today is your big day. Your parents are not here, so I will accept a bow from you on behalf of your parents. Otherwise, your ceremony will not be complete, and your future days will not be smooth. I think, as your master, I can also accept a bow from you." "Of course." Charlotte quickly said, "Master, please take a seat." Liang Zhengchun sat down calmly. Whether it was his sitting posture or bearing, he had the aura of a martial arts master. Shinta Tianyin was a little unwilling, of course, because Liang Zhengchun was Liang Xiao's father, but Charlotte had already agreed, so she had nothing to say. The MC said, "Bow to your parents. First kowtow, second kowtow, third kowtow, tea." Charlotte handed the tea to Liang Zhengchun with both hands. Liang Zhengchun took the tea and took a sip. He took out 2 red envelopes and handed one to Charlotte and the other to Shinta Tianyin. When holding the red envelope, Charlotte's hand trembled slightly. Because it was too light, he couldn't help but use his X-ray vision. The red envelope did not contain money, but a note. Chapter 559. In front of so many people, especially the agents of 101 innings, Charlotte did not dare to look at the contents of the note carefully. When he found that there was a note inside, he put the red envelope away. Shinturin also gave Charlotte a red envelope. It was a private aircraft registration certificate tied with red silk. Charlotte's betrothal gift was a gold wall, and Shinturin's dowry for Shinta Tianyin was a Boeing 747. This was called giving and taking. However, Charlotte's betrothal gift was more generous because it was worth 1 billion yuan. Husband and wife bow and enter the bridal chamber. The MC announced, and the ceremony ended. Of course, Charlotte and Shinta Tianyin would not have their bridal chamber in the Capital International Convention and Exhibition Center. This was just a ceremony. The two of them entered the changing room. Shinta Tianyin did not shy away from Charlotte at all. She took off the traditional clothes on her body. She only had a purple bra and panties left on her body. Her body was as white as jade, and it was plump and lovely. She took the wedding dress and was about to put it on. Charlotte said, "The weather is so cold. Don't wear a wedding dress. Wear a cotton coat. Don't freeze." Shinta Tianyin said, "It's okay. Today is my wedding day with you. Of course I have to wear a wedding dress. I will wear it for once in my life, no matter how cold it is. Besides, isn't there air conditioning? It's okay." Charlotte smiled. "It's up to you." He also took off the traditional clothes on his body and changed into a suit. "By the way, husband, your master," Shinta Tianyin said tentatively. "Why is he here?" This was the second time she had asked this question. Charlotte smiled bitterly. "I don't know. He went to the United States, and we haven't been in contact for a long time. This is the first time I've seen him since he went to the United States." "You mean you didn't send him an invitation? Then how'd he get in?" Charlotte thought for a moment. "I think it's probably because of Lu Sheng. Lu Sheng is my sister's bodyguard and also my head of security. He is also my master's disciple. Some of the invitations for this wedding were sent by him." Then, Shinta Tianyin hesitated for a moment before saying, "Is your senior sister, Liang Xiao, also here?" In fact, this was what Shinta Tianyin wanted to ask. She wasn't worried about Liang Zhengchen. She was only worried about Liang Xiao, the woman who had snatched Charlotte away from her. She had been robbed once, and she would not allow herself to be robbed again. Charlotte embraced her and said gently, "Tianyin, I know what you're worried about. Don't worry. I have nothing to do with her anymore. Even if she was here, it wouldn't affect anything. I love you. I want to be with you forever. No one can separate us." Shinta Tianyin smiled. She kissed Charlotte's cheek and said, "I love you too. Let's go out. You invited so many big shots. We have to toast them. We can't neglect them." Out of the locker room, Charlotte said, "Tianyin, wait for me. I need to go to the bathroom." "Go ahead." Shinta Tianyin waited in the corridor. Charlotte entered the bathroom. He opened the red envelope that Liang Zhengchen had given him and took out the note. On the note was Liang Xiao's note. "Lazy, today is your wedding day. I wish you and Shinta Tianyin the best. I've hurt you before, but please believe me, it's definitely not what I wanted. I don't expect you to forgive me, but are you going to punish me for the rest of my life because of my identity? I know what happened to you, and I know you have a problem. Do you remember the fluids I took from you? Your blood and everything. The AE Research Center has a preliminary result on those things. Do you want to know? Let's meet. If you agree, you can tell my dad. I forgive you. Then I will find a time to appear in front of you. Xiao, who still loves you deeply." That was all that was written on the note. After reading the note, Charlotte tore the note into pieces, threw it into the toilet, and flushed it down the drain. He stared at the toilet blankly. His heart was not calm at all. She's already in China? With the intelligence system of 101 innings, it's impossible that the people in 101 innings don't know her identity. The risk of her sneaking back to China can be imagined. She took such a huge risk to come see me. Is it because she wants me to forgive her, or is it because she said that the AE Research Center has discovered something and wants to tell me? Xiao Lei pondered over this matter, unable to make up his mind. Liang Xiao knew the secret of the AE Research Center. Although she did not know everything, she was very clear about what it was. The bodily fluids that she was talking about were obtained in a passionate way during the time when they were passionately in love, and she had hidden them away. She mentioned bodily fluids in the note, and she also mentioned that she was willing to help him solve his problem. Although she did not explicitly say what the problem was, Charlotte knew that it was the problem of him being unable to get a woman pregnant. She said she would help me solve the problem? How did she solve it? What exactly did the AE Research Center come up with? These questions were also troubling Xiao Lei. There were many questions that he wanted to know the answer to. However, there was only one way to get these answers, and that was through Liang Xiao. "Hubby, are you okay?" Shintu Tian's voice came from outside the bathroom. Charlotte came back to his senses. He responded and walked out of the bathroom. "Why did it take so long?" My stomach is a little uncomfortable," Charlotte said. He took Shintu Tian's hand and walked out. "Hubby, there's something." Shintu Tianyin wanted to say something, but stopped. "What is it?" "My dad asked me several times. He asked me if we were using contraception." Charlotte was stunned for a moment and said awkwardly, "You? How did you answer?" Shinta Tianyin said, "If I said no, do you want me to say yes? If I said that, he would definitely scold me. Although he loves me, he is very serious about this matter. He wants to hold a grandson so much that he is going crazy. Hubby, we have been living together for such a long time, but my stomach is not responding. It is probably my problem. I want to go to the hospital for a checkup. Why don't you go with me and have a checkup while you are at it? What do you think?" Charlotte knew that this was a very euphemistic way of saying it. Shinta Tianyin had been with him for several months. They had rolled in bed many times, and they did not take any safety measures every time. Under normal circumstances, her belly should have been big, but it was not. She was a person with a private doctor. After such a long time, wouldn't she let her doctor check her? In fact, it was not difficult to guess the doctor's examination results. She was definitely fine, and the problem was on his side. However, she was worried that it would hurt Charlotte's supremacy if she said it clearly. After all, men were more sensitive in this aspect. Therefore, she used this euphemistic way to say it and let Charlotte have a checkup. First, it was the misunderstanding with Jiang Rui, and now it was Shinta Tianyin who brought it up. A fertility problem that had not been noticed before came to the surface. Charlotte did not feel a man's self-esteem or anything, but his head was really getting bigger. That if you don't want it's okay. Shinta Tianyin was afraid that it would stimulate Charlotte's nerves and make him unhappy. Charlotte smiled. It's okay. It definitely can't be done today. Let's find a time to do the checkup. It may not be your problem, but maybe my problem. Okay. Shinta Tianyin also relaxed. By the way, if it is my problem, then treat it. What if it can't be cured? Shinta Tianyin raised the corner of his mouth. Technology is so advanced now. If it can't be cured at home, we can go abroad. It can definitely be cured. Charlotte did not say things like, what if it can't be cured abroad? Because he could already see that Shinta Tianyin's mood was obviously down and he was a little unhappy. A woman's biggest dream was to marry a man she loved and loved her and then give birth to her own children. Only then could a woman's life be complete. If he could not make her pregnant, she would definitely not be happy. Forget it. Although there are some risks, I'll still go see her. I hope she can help me solve this problem. Otherwise, the pressure from my father-in-law and wife alone is enough to give me a headache. Charlotte had already made up his mind. The wedding banquet began. For this wedding, Shinta Tianyin almost invited all the famous chefs in the capital. She did not care how much money she spent. She only pursued the best effect. Her man was the best man in the world, so naturally, her wedding banquet also had to be the best wedding banquet. There were too many guests, so Charlotte and Shinta Tianyin could not go to every table to toast. Under the instructions of the MC, he drank 3 glasses in a row, which could be considered a toast to everyone. Then, he brought Shinta Tianyin to toast some of the distinguished bigwigs. Ling Hao, the bigwigs in the military, the ambassadors, and the Prince of the Caliph had to personally entertain them, so they could not be neglected. Finally, Charlotte brought Shinta Tianyin to Liang Zhengchun. Master, I'll pour you a glass of wine, and then let's have a drink, Charlotte said. Liang Zhengchun smiled. Then I'll drink the wine in the glass first. Pour me another glass, and then I'll drink with you. With that, Liang Zhengchun picked up the glass, tilted his neck, and drank the wine in the glass. Charlotte took the bottle and poured wine for Liang Zhengchun. Taking advantage of this opportunity, he lowered his voice and said, I forgive you. Liang Zhengchun was slightly stunned, but he quickly reacted. He smiled and nodded. Okay. I'm so happy today. Master, drink. Charlotte clinked his glass with Liang Zhengchun's and then drank the wine in the glass. Liang Zhengchun drank the wine in the glass and said with a smile, I originally wanted to drink a few more glasses with you, but today you want to drink a lot of wine, so I won't make do with it. Go, do your thing, don't call me. Master, where do you live now? Charlotte asked. Liang Zhengchun said, I just came back. I contacted Lu Sheng, and he told me that you're going to get married. Master, I came uninvited. Master, don't say such things to you. I'm very ashamed to hear you say that. I'm going back to Haizhu to live for a while. It's still the same place. If you have time, come and see me. Liang Zhengchun said. Okay, I'll definitely come. Charlotte said. After leaving Liang Zhengchun's table, Shinta Tianyin pulled Charlotte's sleeve and whispered, when you go to his house, take me with you. I want to go too. Charlotte. Chapter 560. After toasting in the men's guest area, Charlotte followed Shinta Tianyin to the women's guest area. Under Shinta Tianyin's lead, he first toasted the Shinta family. He knew almost everyone in the Shinta family, but he did not have a good impression of them. However, even if he did not have a good impression of them, he was still very polite to Shinta Tianyin and Shinta Rin. He greeted the Shinta family members one by one and drank with them. For the Shinta family members, their feelings were very complicated. Back then, they and Shinta Yi's family had tried to overthrow Shinta Tianyin and wanted to chase Shinta Tianyin out of the Wanxiang Corporation. They viewed Charlotte as their enemy and bullied him in all sorts of ways. But now, they had to live under Charlotte's nose. Even if they were dissatisfied in their hearts, they did not dare to show it on their faces. There is an old saying that the river flows east for 30 years, and then west for 30 years. Don't bully the young for being poor. However, to the people from the Shinta clan, how could they even need 30 years? In less than 3 years, they had already experienced the bitter consequences of bullying Xiaolei. Once Charlotte and Shinta Tianyin left, the Shinta family members started whispering to each other. What's there to be proud of? Even if he is extremely capable, it's useless. He can't even get his wife pregnant. So what's the point of earning so much money? One of Shinta Tianyin's uncles said, "That's right. It's been a few months since that kid Xiaolei and Tianyin got their marriage certificate, but Tianyin's stomach hasn't had any reaction at all. Could it be that the kid can't do it?" Said a cousin of Shinta Tianyin. Hee, this is called retribution. That kid surnamed Xia caused second uncle's entire family to go to prison, and even the old man was not spared. He did all these evil things, so of course the heavens will punish him. One of Shinta Tianyin's aunts said, "Infertility is good. In the future, no one will inherit the Wanxiang Corporation. It will still belong to our Shuntu family. This is a good thing. We have to have a drink." A cousin of Shinta Tianyin said, "The people of the Shinta clan raised their cups in celebration. Now, they could only find this kind of balance." Charlotte was unable to hear what the Shuntu family members were discussing behind his back. Even if he could hear it, he would just laugh it off. Only the weak would mock those who were above them behind their backs, and such people would usually ignore their own situation. Under the guidance of Shinta Tianyin, Charlotte toasted the celebrities and business tycoons who came to attend the wedding. Previously, these people had said some cold words, but now they all revealed flattering smiles and toasted Charlotte, taking the initiative to show goodwill and build a good relationship with him. Those celebrities flattered Charlotte, of course, because of Shinta Tianyin's investment in the entertainment industry. And those business tycoons tried to build a relationship with Charlotte purely because of the huge political and business energy that Charlotte released. Charlotte was also happy to make friends with these business tycoons and continue to strengthen his network. This was also beneficial to him. After toasting some of the important people in the bride's guest area, the wedding banquet was almost over. "Let me help you to rest. You drank too much." Shinta Tianyin held Charlotte's arm and said with concern, Charlotte did drink a lot of alcohol. Although he did not calculate it, he roughly estimated that it was more than half a kilo. However, he was not drunk at all. The magical energy hidden in his body had already awakened when he was in the bride's guest area, helping his body to detoxify the alcohol. With its help, not to mention half a kilo of white wine, even 10 kilos of white wine would not be a problem. Shinta Tianyin did not know this. She was very worried about Charlotte. After all, she had been watching how much Xiaolei had drunk from the side. If I say that I'm not drunk, she will definitely think that I'm a wine jar, right? Charlotte thought in his heart and pretended to be a little drunk. He said slowly, "Well, I'm not drunk." Shinta Tianyin said, "You're not drunk? You drank so much. Let me help you to rest." All right. Let's go take a rest." Xiaolei's walking posture showed that he was a little drunk. "Brother Xia," a voice suddenly came, "Long time no see. Today is your big day. Why don't you come and have a drink with your old friend?" This voice was a little familiar. Charlotte looked in the direction of the voice and saw the person who spoke to him at a glance. It was Su Lang. He also saw Run Wenxiang, who was sitting next to Charlotte. If he had not seen these two people, he would have almost forgotten about their existence. Come, Brother Xiao, we are all friends. Can't you give us a toast? Today is your big day." Su Lang took a bottle of Feiqian Maodai from the dining table, as well as a drinking glass. He walked towards Xia Lei while pouring wine into the drinking glass. When he walked in front of Charlotte, the drink cup was already filled with white wine. Xia Lei finally understood why this Su Lang would take the initiative to greet him. He wanted to take advantage of the fact that he was drunk to pour more wine into his mouth and make a fool of himself. Is this all my former opponent can do? Charlotte sighed in his heart. Su Lang walked in front of Xiaolei and Shinta Tianyin. With a smile on his face, he said, "Brother Xia, If you're a good friend, then let's have a toast. I wish you and sister-in-law a long life together, and for you to have children soon." Before Charlotte could say anything, Shinatianin frowned and said, "Mr. Su, my husband has drunk too much. He can't drink anymore." With Brother Xia's alcohol tolerance, would he care about this little bit of wine? Don't you think so, Brother Xia? Drink, drink. Su Lang stuffed the drink cup into Charlotte's hands. Charlotte held the wine cup, but did not drink. He looked at Su Lang with a confused expression. "You are..." A trace of hatred flashed in Su Lang's eyes. He knew that Charlotte definitely knew who he was because of Jiang Rui. He and Charlotte were rivals in love. So how could Charlotte forget him? "Oh, I remember now. You're Su Lang, right? Why are you here?" Charlotte said. "Drink, drink." Su Lang did not say why he was here, but urged Charlotte to drink. At this time, Ren Wenxiang also walked over. In his hands was a bottle of wine and a cup. With a smile on his face, he said, "Brother Xia, it's really enviable for you to be able to achieve what you have today. Don't tell me you've even forgotten me?" Charlotte smiled. "Ren Wenxiang, of course I remember." Ren Wenxiang smiled and said, "It's good that you remember. Let's have a drink." Shinta Tianyin originally wanted to get angry at Su Lang and Ren Wenxiang, but seeing Charlotte smile as he chatted with the two, she didn't say anything. If the two were really Charlotte's friends, then if she got angry at them, then Charlotte would be unhappy. However, she was still very worried about Charlotte's health. She nudged Charlotte with her arm and whispered, "If you have to drink, then let me drink for you." Charlotte said, "It's fine, it's fine." Su Lang said with a smile, "Sister-in-law, you don't have to worry. Brother Xia has a good capacity for alcohol. He won't get drunk after drinking this cup." Ren Wenxiang also said, "That's right. There's no need for sister-in-law to drink for me." Shinta Tianin's eyes were unhappy, but she did not flare up. Charlotte still did not drink. He looked at Su Lang and Ren Wenxiang and said, "I just asked you how you got here. Is it difficult to answer this question?" Ren Wenxiang and Su Lang looked at each other with hatred and embarrassment. Charlotte said, "I'm sure I didn't invite you, and I'm sure my wife won't invite you. So how did you get here?" "Surname Xiao, what do you mean?" Su Lang could no longer control the anger in his heart. "Don't you just have some stinking money? Don't forget that you were just a worker on a construction site in Haizhu." Ren Wenxiang also sneered coldly. "I can tell you how I got here. I came here with our boss Wang. If you invited me, I wouldn't have come." "Charlotte, let me give you a piece of advice. Don't forget your roots. Think about the time when you opened a laughing workshop in Haizhu. That will make you calm down and see yourself clearly." Some guests looked at them and whispered. Shinta Tianin said angrily, "Get out, you two." Su Lang sneered and said, "Who do you think you are? Do you think I'll go out just because you want me to? I'm not going out today. What can you do to me? Call the police to arrest me." He was a policeman and had worked in the capital for a while, so he had nothing to fear. Shinta Tianin was about to call her bodyguards over, but Charlotte stopped her and said, "Let me handle it." "Humph." Su Lang sneered and said, "Surname Xia, what can you do to me? If you have the guts, beat me up. I'll let you beat me up." "Beat you up?" Charlotte shook his head and said, "I'm afraid of dirtying my hands." After saying that, he waved in the direction of the door. 4 agents from 101 innings followed and walked over. "Ask these 2 people to leave," Charlotte said. The 4 agents from 101 innings did not say anything. In the blink of an eye, they had Su Lang and Ren Wenxiang in a group of 2. Charlotte said again, "They like to drink, so they each brought a bottle of wine. Let them drink." The 4 agents from 101 innings dragged Ren Wenxiang and Su Lang out. Su Lang struggled and was punched in the lower abdomen by an agent. Then, there was no more sound. Throughout the whole process, the 4 agents from 101 innings did not say a word, but they carried out Charlotte's orders meticulously. In 101 innings, although Charlotte was still considered a non-staff consultant, the prestige he had built up was no less than that of Long Bing, Tang Yuyin, and Tang Buchuan. Su Jingyi witnessed the whole incident with his own eyes because he was at the same table as Su Lang and Ren Wenxiang. When Su Lang was taken away by the agents from 101 innings, he looked at him for help, but Su Jingyi turned his head and pretended not to see it. Even he did not dare to provoke the current Charlotte, let alone the pitiful Su Lang. It's okay, it's okay. Everyone, please eat and drink well. Feel free, feel free. Charlotte left with Shinda Tianyin after saying a few polite words. At the same time, in a bathroom. Damn, how dare you cause trouble? You two have guts. You're really fat. Long Bing's subordinate placed 2 bottles of white wine on the floor of the bathroom. He looked down at Su Lang and Ren Wenxiang, who were on the floor, and sneered, I'll give you 2 choices. One, I'll force it down your nostrils, and the other, you can drink it yourself. Su Lang said angrily, Who are you? What are you trying to do? I'm a police. Before he could finish his sentence, Long Bing's underling sent a kick towards him. When Su Lang was lying on the floor, he grabbed Su Lang's hair and said, I'll say it again. Do you want me to force it down your nostrils or drink it? Su Lang hadn't moved yet, but Ren Wenxiang suddenly grabbed a bottle of wine that was much smaller and poured it down his throat. Su Lang glanced at Ren Wenxiang speechlessly, then braced himself and grabbed a bottle of wine. At this time, he suddenly thought of someone. His mother. Chapter 561. Russia, Siberia. Bang, bang, bang. A series of gunshots shattered the silence of the forest. In the white snow, an Asian woman was running in the snow with an AK-47. The bullets flying behind her hit the trees next to her, sending wood chips flying and snow falling from the canopy. Some snow hit her neck, bringing a piercing cold, but she didn't feel it at all. Hurry up, faster. A tall mixed-race girl roared, shooting at the running woman with a pistol. She was also running, but compared to the woman in front of her, she was running in the snow-covered forest with ease. The Asian woman in front of her was like a thin white rabbit, while the mixed-race girl behind her was like a ferocious wolf. As long as she wanted, she could tear the Asian woman in front of her to pieces at any time. The Asian woman was Gu Qian, and the one chasing her was Yamosa, the top killer of the FA organization. I can't run anymore. Gu Qian was about to collapse. After a certain distance, she didn't even have the strength to move her legs, let alone run in the snow. Will your enemy give you time to rest on the battlefield? Hurry up! Yamosa roared at Gu Qian, swinging his gun and hitting a tree next to Gu Qian. The bullet grazed Gu Qian's cheek and hit a tree trunk. Gu Qian was shocked and fell to the ground. Bang, bang, bang. Several bullets hit the snow next to Gu Qian. Get up! Hurry up! Yamosa roared. Gu Qian clenched his teeth and stumbled forward. Night fell, and the bone-chilling wind shook the forest. The temperature here was minus 40 degrees, and the living environment was extremely harsh. This land was truly a barren wasteland. Only the most valiant life forms could survive here. Gu Qian used to be a real rich lady, living like a princess, with people doing everything for her, and she just needed to enjoy a good life. But now, she was undergoing Yamosa's demonic training to complete her life's transformation. All this was because of a man, Charlotte. No matter how hard it was, as long as she thought of this name in her heart, her will would become strong. An hour later, Gu Qian passed through the forest. In front of her was a lake that she did not know the name of. The lake had already frozen, and it was a vast expanse of white. On the opposite side of the lake was a small wooden hut. That was the end of the training. Perhaps it was because he saw the cabin. Gu Qian, who had been in a tense state, suddenly relaxed. But as soon as she let out a breath, her body felt as if it had been sucked dry, and she fell to the ground. She struggled to get up, but she couldn't support her body and fell heavily to the ground. Yamosa walked over from behind, pulling out her modified pistol from her waist. Without saying anything, she fired a shot at Gu Qian's left and right sides. The ice on the surface of the lake shattered, and cracks appeared under Gu Qian's body. Her body was pressed against the broken ice, and the cracks were expanding rapidly. The ice that supported her body could collapse at any time. Once it broke, her body would fall into the extremely cold lake water. In the minus 40 degrees Celsius temperature, If she fell into the lake water, she would die in less than a minute. You still have 1 minute. Whether you live or die, it's up to you. No one can help you. Yamosa left these words, stepped past Gu Qian, and walked straight to the small wooden hut. The threat of death swept over, and Gu Qian's breathing also became hurried. The ice slowly sank, and Gu Qian's shoes were already wet. "Charlotte!" Gu Qian screamed. She didn't know where the strength came from, but she climbed up from the ice and continued to run forward, rushing into the small wooden hut. The training was over. A smile appeared on Yamosa's lips. A pile of firewood was lit in the fireplace of the small wooden hut, and the raging fire dispelled the cold. Gu Qian was curled up next to the fireplace like a wounded dog. Her hands and feet were covered in bloody blisters, and they were in terrible pain. Her tears also flowed uncontrollably. She couldn't help but think about her previous life. At that time, she had lived a life of luxury, and the people around her were like stars surrounding the moon. No one dared to go against her wishes. But she was struggling here like a dog. Yamosa moved a chair and sat next to the fireplace, coldly saying, "Do you feel bitter?" Gu Qian subconsciously nodded her head. "If you wanted to end, I can give you a quick death. Don't worry, I won't let you feel the slightest bit of pain." Yamosa's voice was very cold. No. Gu Qian stared at Yamosa with tears in her eyes. The Gu Qian of the past died in Japan. I'm a different person now. I want revenge, and I'm not afraid of bitterness. I want to become a strong person like you. That's right. There are no people who are born strong in this world, and I also came from your situation. At that time, no one helped me, but I persevered. I can also persevere. Yamosa turned on a special laptop, and her 10 fingers flew as an image quickly appeared on the monitor. It was actually the scene of Charlotte and Shinta Tianin's wedding. On the monitor, under the guidance of the priest, Charlotte and Shinta Tianin exchanged wedding rings, and then Charlotte kissed Shinta Tianin. Gu Qian's eyes flashed with the flames of hatred. She clenched her fists, and the wounds on her palms stimulated her nerves. But the more painful it was, the more excited she became. "Your plan is going well, which is why I'm willing to train you. You are a very smart woman. If you follow me, you will have a very bright future." Yamosa said, "Charlotte won't let the Germans take Nina away. He will definitely make a deal with the Germans. I know him very well. Although I'm not sure what kind of deal he will make with the Germans, I know that there is a 60% chance that he will go to Germany." Yamosa sneered, "If he goes, that will be the end of his life. I will kill him with my own hands." Gu Qian's eyes were very scary. Yamosa shook her head. "Even if Charlotte goes to Germany, you will not go there. Why? You have to receive training here, and then go to the CIB. That is where you can use your talent and value. I will deal with Charlotte. His fate can only be decided by the FA organization. You can't, and I can't." Gu Qian's lips moved, as if she wanted to fight, but when she saw Yamosa's cold face, she swallowed what she wanted to say. "Tell me about Shinta Tianin. How much do you know about this kind of woman? Do you want to do something to Shinta Tianin?" "That's not my question." "Well, Shinta Tianin is a very smart and ambitious woman. Her marriage to Charlotte is like adding wings to a tiger for her." It was snowing quietly outside the window. A Siberian wolf came out of the woods, saw the fire in the cabin, and then turned and disappeared into the vast snowy night. At the same time, in the capital of China, the Lane house was decorated with lanterns and streamers, and the atmosphere was joyous. Fu Mingmei set off fireworks to celebrate the arrival of the Lunar New Year. Fireworks bloomed in the night sky, dazzling. She cheered like a child, jumping on the grass. On a balcony, Shinta Tianin nestled in Charlotte's arms, quietly watching the fireworks bloom. Charlotte held her waist very gently. He also watched the fireworks, but his mind was not on them. He couldn't help but think of Liang Xiao's appearance and the note she wrote. "I've already done as she promised. She said she's coming to see me. Why is she coming to see me? Here or somewhere else?" He didn't know why, but he was very worried for Liang Xiao. After all, her identity was too special. Once she was discovered by the people at Innings 101, it was almost impossible for her to escape from China. And Liang Zhongchun, he went to America, and now he was back. Why? What are you thinking about? Shinta Tianyin looked back at Charlotte, his eyes full of tenderness. Charlotte put his thoughts aside and smiled. I'm thinking that I should be the happiest man in the world. I married you, and you're in my arms. Shinta Tianyin laughed. You only know how to say sweet nothings. I don't know how many women you've coaxed. The fireworks are so beautiful. Charlotte felt guilty and quickly changed the topic. Shinta Tianyin said with some sadness, It's beautiful, but it's gone in an instant. I remember there's a line in the lyrics, fireworks get cold easily. That seems to be the meaning. It blooms in an instant, and the light shines everywhere, but it disappears in the blink of an eye. Aren't people like fireworks? From birth to death, it's only a few decades. In the long river of time, these few decades can't even compare to the fireworks. Don't think so much. Today is our good day. We should think of some happy things and do some happy things. Charlotte bit Shinta Tianyin's earlobe. It was her most sensitive place, and she couldn't stand it every time he teased her. Shinta Tianyin's cheeks suddenly flushed, and her body seemed to become soft. She stuck closely to Charlotte, looking for the changes in Charlotte's body. Her raised buttocks quickly found the changes in Charlotte. That feeling made her flustered and itchy. Let's go back to the house. Maybe we'll succeed tonight. Shinta Tianyin exhaled. Well, let's go back to the house and make a doll. Hee. Charlotte laughed. Son-in-law, let's come down and set off the fireworks. Fu Mingmei suddenly shouted. He's not free. You can set it off yourself. Shinta Tianyin said. Fu Mingmei said with a smile. You've been there for a long time. Why are you not free? You're not going to that. Shinta Tianyin suddenly lifted her foot, grabbed a slipper, and threw it at Fu Mingmei's head. Fu Mingmei dodged. When she looked up again, Shinta Tianyin and Charlotte were no longer on the balcony. She curled her lips and muttered, You're still talking about a dowry maid. I just asked son-in-law to set off the fireworks, and you hit me with a slipper. If I kissed son-in-law or something, wouldn't you chop me with a knife? Domineering, too domineering. In the room, the newlyweds were entangled together. Their hearts were together, and their bodies were together. There was no gap. Even if there was, it would be filled. Bang, bang, bang. Elsewhere, fireworks were set off again. More and more fireworks were set off, and the entire night sky was lit up. The new year arrived. Chapter 562. Shinta Tianyin and Charlotte had no plans to go on a honeymoon after their wedding. No one would believe this even if they told others. In the eyes of ordinary people, people like Shinta Tianyin and Charlotte would spend their honeymoon in Hawaii, Las Vegas, or Paris, France. It was full of exotic atmosphere. But the truth was that their honeymoon was at Lane House. Of course, Shinta Tianyin wanted to go out. She wanted to go to Hawaii, Bali, and Las Vegas. However, considering Xia Lei's other identity, she had no choice but to give up her honeymoon plan. In fact, it was not a big deal to spend a honeymoon at home. It saved time on the journey, and she did not have to go to work. She could spend all day with Charlotte, read a book, watch a movie, or have a passionate love. Charlotte also put down everything. The matter of the Thunder Horse Army Factory, the ex-secret gold project, and even the matter of meeting with Liang Xiao. He put all down. He did not do it, nor did he think about it. He only did one thing, and that was to accompany Shinta Tianyin and be her husband. Love could be complicated sometimes, but it could also be very simple sometimes. Eating, sleeping, and rolling in the sheets. That was love. It was real love. Time passed quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was the 5th day of the first month. It was already dawn, but Charlotte was still sleeping in his bed. In a daze, he dreamed that Shinta Tianyin was pregnant, and they were twins. Jiang Rui and Long Bing were also pregnant. He was going to be the father of several children. With a crisp sound, a soft hand landed on Charlotte's butt. It's time to get up, you lazy pig. It was Shinta Tianyin's voice. Charlotte opened his eyes and saw his wife. Shinta Tianyin was wearing a white sweater. Her soft breasts pushed the sweater high, and the deep cleavage in the middle was enough to put a tactical flashlight in. She wore a pair of tight blue jeans, and the curves of her buttocks and legs were perfectly outlined. The curves were graceful and attractive. She had a smile on the corner of her mouth, and there was a coquettish pout in her eyes to her lazy husband. It was gentle, fresh, and charming. In Xiaolei's impression, Shinta Tianyin was an overbearing CEO most of the time, but the person in front of him was a gentle and pleasant wife. Perhaps it was because of this change in temperament. Charlotte's heart was filled with tenderness and love, and his left eye jumped uncontrollably. Then, Shinta Tianyin's sweater, jeans, and underwear all disappeared. Her breasts that seemed to be carved out of white jade, her flat stomach that still had a bit of baby fat, her firm buttocks, and her beauty was completely exposed in front of him, tempting him and making him unable to restrain his excitement. Shinta Tianyin smiled. "What are you looking at?" Charlotte smiled. "I'm looking at you. You're so beautiful. You only know how to say nice things." Shinta Tianyin pretended to be annoyed, but her heart was full of joy. Charlotte grabbed her hand and pulled gently, and Shinta Tianyin fell into his arms. "Didn't you eat enough last night?" Shinta Tianyin felt the changes in Charlotte's body and said nervously. Charlotte bit her ear. "How can I eat enough? I want to eat you for the rest of my life, and it won't be enough for the rest of my life." Shinta Tianyin moaned. She even abandoned her last bit of restraint and crawled into bed of her own accord. After the morning exercise, the couple went downstairs and had breakfast. "Hubby, I've made an appointment at a private hospital. Let's go for a checkup today." Shinta Tianyin said cautiously. "Well, if you're not willing, I'll call to cancel the appointment." "There's no need to cancel. I'll go to the hospital with you for a checkup," Charlotte said. He had to face this problem sooner or later, and it was impossible to avoid it. Instead of avoiding it, it was better to let Shinta Tianyin know the results. She also had the right to know. After all, she was his wife. An hour later, Fu Mingmei drove Shinta Tianyin's Rolls-Royce Phantom to a private hospital. This hospital was not large, but it was very powerful. It was a private hospital that specialized in serving the rich. Only such a private hospital would accept Shinta Tianyin's appointment service. A public hospital would not do, because the service she wanted was that the whole hospital only had 2 patients today, Charlotte and her. After getting out of the car, Shinta Tianyin called the hospital. Fu Mingmei whispered to Charlotte, "Young master, after you go in, cooperate with the doctor for a checkup. If there's a problem, you have to take medicine, understand?" Charlotte looked at her speechlessly. "I'm not a child. Do I need you to remind me like this?" Fu Mingmei said, "Let me make it clear first. This is not my idea. It's Master's idea. Master specially asked me to remind you. Well, he wants to hold a grandson so much that he's going crazy." Charlotte smiled bitterly and did not want to say anything. He wanted Shinta Tianyin to be pregnant with his child, but this kind of thing could not be rushed. Moreover, this matter was related to the AE capsule. Even if it was found out, it would be useless because the current technology could not solve the problem in his body. "Honey, let's go. They are ready. Let's go in." Shinta Tianyin put away his phone and waved to Charlotte. Charlotte walked over and entered the hospital with Shinta Tianyin. Shinta Tianyin had actually already done a checkup, but this time she decided to do it again. She did this to take care of Charlotte's feelings. Sometimes a man's dignity in this aspect was particularly sensitive and strong, just like a woman's emotions. Sometimes it would change inexplicably. After entering the hospital, Shinta Tianyin entered an examination room, and Charlotte entered another examination room. Blood was drawn, photos were taken, and then samples were taken. After going through these procedures, the old expert in charge of examining Charlotte had Charlotte lie on an operating table. "Mr. Xia, please take off your pants. I will check for you," the old expert said very politely. Charlotte was a little embarrassed, but in the end, he still took off his pants. Furthermore, the other party was an old man, so there was no need to mind or avoid it. "Please wait a moment. I will change into a pair of gloves." The old expert entered the inner room of the examination room. Charlotte lay on the operating table, his heart in a mess. With the strength of this hospital, I don't know if they can find out my problem. However, even if they find out, they can't solve it. If the result given by this hospital is that I can never get a woman pregnant in my life, won't Tianyin be very sad? What should I do? Suddenly, a sound came from the inner room. Charlotte heard it, but did not respond. At this time, he did not have the mood to care about what the old expert was doing. The sound of footsteps came. A few seconds later, a female doctor wearing a white coat and a mask bypassed the curtain that covered the operating table and appeared next to the operating table. Seeing a female doctor suddenly come, not the old expert just now, Charlotte was shocked and hurriedly reached out to cover the place between his legs. It's not like I haven't seen it before. What's there to hide? The female doctor said. This voice, her eyes, and her figure made the embarrassed and flustered Charlotte suddenly realize that she was not a doctor, but Liang Xiao. Indeed, for Liang Xiao, which part of Charlotte's body had she not seen? Charlotte's first time was taken by her, and her first time was also taken by Charlotte. With the relationship between the gun and the holster between the two of them, Charlotte really had nothing to hide. Not daring to, Charlotte quickly put on his pants. He did not want to talk to Liang Xiao naked. I said that as long as you are willing, I will come to see you. And I did it, Liang Xiao said. Charlotte said, it's very dangerous for you to do this. Is it worth it? For you, I have done more dangerous things. This is nothing. More dangerous things? Didn't Uncle Xia tell you? He promised me that he would talk to you. Charlotte was stunned for a moment. You? Well, my dad met? Not only did I meet him, I also helped him, Liang Xiao said. In Jerusalem. At that time, Uncle Xia and I worked together, and we could have killed Gu Qian, but she escaped. Why did you do that? I told you that when I joined the CIA, I was very young. That was because of my uncle. I had no choice. I met you because of the mission. The time I spent with you was the happiest time of my life. I did something wrong, but I have been punished. Can you forgive me? Liang Xiao looked at Charlotte. Her eyes were filled with guilt and longing, as well as many other emotions. It was very complicated. Charlotte was silent for a moment and sighed. Is my forgiveness very important to you? Of course it is important. Actually, Charlotte smiled bitterly. Why do you need me to say it myself? If I hated you, I would have arrested you when Hai Zhu found out about your identity. I let you go and didn't tell your secret to 101 innings. I can't hate you. This is all I can do. If you wanted to say it myself, fine, I will say it. I forgive you. But what can I do? We can't go back to the times we used to be. Liang Xiao suddenly moaned and threw herself into Charlotte's arms, hugging him tightly. Charlotte didn't resist. He let Liang Xiao hug him. He could feel the heat and temptation from Liang Xiao. He was familiar with everything about her. However, this time, he didn't have any other reaction. There was only sadness in his heart. If Liang Xiao wasn't from the CIA, and there wasn't the person who stole his secrets, she would be his wife now, running his company with him. But now, she was in the enemy's camp. Liang Xiao's tears rolled down quietly and fell on Charlotte's shoulder. Before coming to see Charlotte, she had thought of a lot of things to say to Charlotte. She had even rehearsed them in front of the mirror. But at this moment, she couldn't say anything. She hugged Charlotte, and his body was in her arms. It was so real, but she felt like there was a wall between them. This feeling broke her heart. Xiao, don't be like this. Charlotte broke the silence between the two of them. Only then did Liang Xiao let go of Charlotte. She turned around and wiped the tears from the corner of her eyes with her sleeve. Chapter 563. Xiao, if there's a chance, I'd love to talk to you all day. But you know that this isn't a safe place. If you have anything to say, just tell me now. With Liang Xiao here, Charlotte was not only worried about Liang Xiao's safety, but he was also worried that Shinta Tianyin would find out about Liang Xiao. Liang Xiao was different from other women. She was his first girlfriend, and Shinta Tianyin knew about her existence. So, if Shinta Tianyin found out that Liang Xiao was here, he wouldn't be able to explain himself even if he had 8 mouths. Liang Xiao took a deep breath. Well, I'll keep it short. I know that you're troubled by some problem right now, and that's why you're here for the examination. Back then, I took some body fluid samples from you and sent some to the AE Research Center for research. You got the research report? Yes. I'm now the director of the CIA's Asia region. The CIA's most important mission in Asia is you, and they have to provide me with all the information about you. Charlotte smiled bitterly. Congratulations, you've been promoted. Liang Xiao's expression darkened. Don't say that, my heart hurts. My position as director isn't stable, and they just can't find a more suitable candidate. In fact, when my predecessor was still there, he even had plans to get rid of me. The internal strife in the CIA is very fierce, and I could be killed at any time. Then why are you still there? Liang Xiao's eyes were filled with tears again. Do you think I want to stay there? I don't want to. I'm here to see you, and I'm even helping your father. Don't you understand my feelings? Charlotte's heart softened, and it softened into a mess. He wasn't a blockhead. In fact, this wasn't the first time Liang Xiao had helped him. If it weren't for her help in Korea, he would have been caught by the Korean military and CIA agents. And this time, she was risking her life to help him. How could he not appreciate her kindness? Forget it. A bitter smile appeared on Liang Xiao's lips. According to the AE Research Center's report, I'm sure it's difficult for you to get a woman pregnant. Very difficult? Charlotte's heart skipped a beat. Are you saying that although it's very difficult, I still have a chance to make a woman pregnant? Don't worry, Liang Xiao said. According to the report, your tadpoles are very strong, very perfect, and very balanced. In their language, they are tadpoles that come out of your body. Every one of them is a strong warrior with a high IQ. Charlotte, question mark. Not only did this description make him speechless, but there were also a lot of messy question marks in his head. Liang Xiao continued to explain, you've studied biology, so you should know that when a man wants to make a woman pregnant, after doing that kind of exercise, the man's tadpoles in the woman's body are actually a process of competition and killing each other. They follow the natural law of survival of the fittest. Only the strongest tadpole can reach the destination, combine with the woman's egg, and finally evolve into a child. I know this, but you said that my essence is so strong, so good. So why can't I make a woman pregnant? Charlotte couldn't help but feel a little awkward talking about this with Liang Xiao. Liang Xiao shrugged. Don't you understand? The tadpoles that come out of your body are very strong, smart, and almost perfect. They start to fight as soon as they come out of your body. They release ingredients to kill each other and start a fight. But the problem is that they are very strong, and it is very difficult for anyone to kill anyone. So, they release more ingredients to kill each other. Well, you can imagine that it is a chemical war. They enter the battlefield, release dirty bombs together, and kill themselves. Charlotte, chemical war, this metaphor was very vivid and vivid. Normal tadpoles, there were strong and weak ones. It was very easy for the strong to kill the weak and eliminate the weak. So, there were always strong tadpoles that reached the destination, combined with the egg, and evolved into children. But when it came to Charlotte, he not only allowed his body to evolve to an unbelievable level, even his tadpoles had evolved to an unbelievable level. Every single one of them was so strong, so perfect, that their battle for the egg would be so exaggerated that they would collectively die as soon as they entered the battlefield. If you only shoot one at a time, then there won't be a problem. Liang Xiao's lips curled into a mischievous smile. Charlotte, shooting one at a time, there was no such sharpshooter in this world, right? What about artificial insemination? Charlotte suddenly thought of this idea. Liang Xiao shook her head. It still won't work. Once they leave your body, they will be activated. Once they are activated, their war will begin. So, even if they are in the needle, they will kill each other and die together. Moreover, the current technology is still unable to take a single tadpole from your body. You mean that I am normal, but I can't stop their war and can't make a woman pregnant, right? Yes, you are very strong and extremely smart. Your tadpoles are also very strong and extremely smart. When I saw the report about you, I couldn't help but want to laugh. Really, you are very normal, but you just can't make a woman pregnant. I can't help but imagine what kind of child your child will be once such an excellent tadpole makes a woman pregnant. Charlotte rolled his eyes at Liang Xiao. I am so frustrated now, but you're still joking with me. Liang Xiao lightly punched Charlotte. Don't worry too much. I have thought about it. You can change the way you release. First release a little, then release a little, or you can let Shinta Tianyin change his position or something. Stop. Charlotte blushed. Okay, I know what is going on. Let's not talk about this anymore. Liang Xiao's face was also red. She looked at Charlotte lovingly and was stunned for a while. Suddenly, she gathered her courage and said, If Shinta Tianyin is not willing, I am willing. I am willing to do anything for you. Charlotte's heart was in a mess. Liang Xiao seemed to be trying to awaken his feelings for her, and she seemed to have awakened something. This feeling was like an apple that was full of magic, but also contained poison. Liang Xiao moved closer to Charlotte. Charlotte subconsciously took a step back, but it was only one step. His back leaned against the wall. Liang Xiao continued to move closer to Charlotte. Her soft breasts were almost pressed against Charlotte's chest. Her breath fluttered onto his face, hot and tickling. But at this critical moment, a voice suddenly came from the examination room. Hey, how did I fall asleep? Liang Xiao suddenly moved back. Charlotte also became nervous. You go, Liang Xiao said. Lei, promise me one thing. If one day I'm hunted down by the CIA, you have to help me. What do you want me to do? Talk to Long Bing and Sherboran. I am willing to be their person, Liang Xiao said. A faint smile appeared on Xia Lei's face. He nodded solemnly. If that happens, I will definitely help you. I welcome you back. China is your home. Liang Xiao grinned and turned to leave. Her last sentence seemed to be the reason why she took the risk to sneak back to China. After Liang Xiao left, the old expert came out of the inner room. He was still a little confused and said to himself, Strange. How did I fall asleep? Charlotte lay back on the operating table, took off his pants, and waited for the examination. He already knew the truth, but he still had to finish the examination for Shinta Tianyin. 10 minutes later, Charlotte left the examination room. He saw Shinta Tianyin talking to a female doctor in the corridor. Fu Mingmei stood beside them and listened. She had a strange expression on her face. He walked over. He heard the conversation between the female doctor and Shinta Tianyin. Miss Shintu, there is nothing wrong with you. You are very normal and healthy. Your husband, Mr. Xia, is also normal and healthy. Under normal circumstances, you can have your own child, but... The female doctor stopped talking. But what? Shinta Tianyin looked very anxious. We don't know the reason. Your husband's tadpole is very strong and healthy. We have never seen such a perfect tadpole. My husband is very healthy, and I am also very healthy. Then why can't we have our own child? Shinta Tianyin seemed to have fallen into a strange circle. The female doctor said apologetically, I'm sorry, Miss Shintu. Our examination equipment is very advanced in China, but we can't find more reasons. My personal advice is that you don't be too anxious and take it slowly. At the same time, don't be too stressed. I know that you are very busy people. This may also be the reason why you can't have a child. Thank you. Shinta Tianyin breathed a sigh of relief. Fu Mingmei saw Charlotte and went up to him. Son-in-law, what did the old expert say to you? Charlotte said, he said that I am very normal and that there is no problem. Shinta Tianyin suddenly walked over and hugged Charlotte. I am sorry, Charlotte said with a smile. Silly, why are you apologizing to me? You didn't do anything wrong. No, I was too anxious. This kind of thing can't be rushed. Let's take it slowly. Shinta Tianyin said. Yes, there is no hurry. We are still young and have plenty of chances. Charlotte could only comfort her like this. Fu Mingmei said with a smile. I knew it. Son-in-law is such a strong and healthy man. How could there be a problem? It must be the way you did it. Tell me, how did you do it? Tell me, and I may be able to give you a very good suggestion. I guarantee that you will succeed in one shot. Charlotte was speechless. Shinta Tianyin threw a punch at her. Go away. You don't even have a boyfriend. Why are you pretending to be an expert? Fu Mingmei dodged and said with a smile. I was also influenced by Master. I am also concerned about you. I read a lot of related information and did some research. Really, sometimes you are above, in front, or from the side of son-in-law. Different positions will result in different results. Scientific love is very important. Tianyin was speechless. Charlotte slapped him on the forehead. It was as if 1,000 horses were galloping in his heart. What the hell was going on? The tadpole was also causing trouble. F***CK. Chapter 564. After saying goodbye at the hospital, Liang Xiao was like a fish swimming in the sea and disappeared. Liang Xiao's appearance added another worry to Charlotte's mind, but he didn't try to find her or even see Liang Zhengchun. Whether it was related to his father Xia Changhe or Liang Xiao, he had to handle it carefully. There was no other way. It had to be like this. On the 8th day of the first lunar month, the German engineering team came to China. On the same day, Charlotte followed Ling Hao to a military area. The German engineering team was arranged in this military area. Not letting the German people stay in the hotel was also a security measure. In comparison, the deal between the two countries couldn't see the light of day. In a reception room of the military area, Charlotte met Philip and his assistant Alida, as well as a leader of the German engineering team named Frank. He was also one of the important engineers involved in the design and production of the Typhoon fighter engine. Both sides shook hands. Frank looked at Charlotte with a strange look. When he shook hands with Charlotte, he said, "Mr. Xia, I thought you were over 40 years old, but I didn't expect you to be so young. The XL 2500 sniper rifle and Gale assault rifle you designed and manufactured surprised me. You are really a genius." Charlotte was already used to this kind of praise. He politely said, "Mr. Frank, you flatter me. I'm just good at machinery. I'm not a genius." Frank laughed. "Mr. Xia, you are so modest. How can we get along?" Excessive modesty was arrogance. Charlotte laughed it off. He was waiting for Ling Hao to talk with Philip, and then he could confirm the time he would go to Germany. This was also the reason why he followed Ling Hao to meet the German people. After the greeting, both sides also entered the main topic. Our people have arrived. According to our previous agreement, you have to provide enough security, confidentiality measures, and all the expenses of our people here. When you confirm the location of the workshop, our people can start working immediately. Philip looked at Ling Hao. "Mr. Ling, is there any problem?" Ling Hao said, "No problem. We've already chosen the location. There are no problems with security and confidentiality measures. Mr. Philip, you can rest assured." Philip's gaze shifted to Charlotte. "So, Mr. Xia, when can you leave for Germany?" Charlotte thought for a moment. "About a week later. I want to go to Germany after the 15th of the first lunar month. Also, I have to make some arrangements." Philip said, "That won't do. Mr. Xia, our people have come, but you are still in China. Actually, I don't mind you arriving a few days later, but please understand that this matter is of great importance. My superiors don't have much patience." Charlotte said, "When do you want me to go there?" Philip said, "Tomorrow. The plane to Germany is ready." This, Charlotte hesitated. Leaving the next day was out of his plan. Ling Hao said, "Charlotte, it's settled. After all, the German people have come, and we should show our sincerity. I know you are worried that no one will take care of your company's affairs. How about this? Let your wife help you manage it. Don't you trust her ability?" Charlotte couldn't refuse anymore. He nodded and said, "Well, I'll go back and make the arrangements now. I'll go to Germany tomorrow." In the past, if he went out, the Rema group would fall into a state of no leader. It depended on Qin Xiang, Zhou Xiaohong, and Guan Lingshan, who started the business with him. Now that he married Tianyin, he really didn't need to worry about the Rema group being without a leader. With Tianyin's ability, she could completely control the Rema group for him. She might even be able to control it better than him. Then it's settled. Philip held out his hand to Charlotte and said with a smile, "Tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock, the plane will fly directly to Essen. That's Nina's hometown. You can take her with you. There will be someone to receive you there." Charlotte shook hands with Philip and said, "Okay, then I'll leave tomorrow. I wish us a successful cooperation." I wish us a successful cooperation. Goodbye, Mr. Xia, Philip said. Charlotte turned and left. Ling Hao chased after him and said, I'll see you off. Charlotte knew that he had something to say, so he didn't refuse. He slowed down and walked in the direction of the parking lot. Ling Hao said as he walked, I know you're worried about safety. To be honest, I'm worried too. After all, Europe and the United States are allies. But this time, they dare not act recklessly. If you are detained by the Germans or the Americans, we will detain the German personnel, and the deal between us will be publicized. The Germans can't bear the consequences, so you can rest assured. Are you trying to reassure me? Charlotte smiled. Brother Ling, since you said that, I really have nothing to worry about. All right, you can go back. I will do this thing beautifully. Ling Hao patted Charlotte's shoulder and said, then go do your thing. Remember to go to 101 innings after you're done. As for who you bring to carry out this mission, I won't ask. Mr. Sure will arrange it for you. Goodbye. Charlotte left. The question of who to bring had been bothering Charlotte for the past few days. Long Bing was the one he wanted to bring to Germany the most. Anina had to go back. She had been away from her hometown for so long. It was time for her to go back. In addition, he had to help her realize her dream. This was an opportunity. If he missed this opportunity, it would be too difficult for him to go to Germany to help her realize her dream in the future. Long Bing and Anina had been confirmed as the candidates to bring to Germany. Now, there was only one person he was not sure about, and that was Tang Yuyan. Tang Yuyan definitely wanted to go, whether it was for political reasons or other reasons. However, if he brought Tang Yuyan, he didn't know how to deal with the relationship between the three women. Anina was his friend with benefits, and she was the type that he couldn't get rid of. Long Bing was his lover, and their relationship and personal relationship were very deep. If it was only Anina and Long Bing, he would have almost no trouble, because even if he slept with Anina, Long Bing wouldn't be jealous. And if he slept with Long Bing, Anina wouldn't have any complaints. He would be in an environment like a fish in water, but if Tang Yuyan was added, the situation would become complicated. Tang Yuyan had been looking for evidence of him having an affair, and on the way to Germany, there would be a lot of such evidence. Just thinking about it gave him a headache. Charlotte drove directly to the Heaven's Wings building, the headquarters of the Wanxiang Group in the capital. Shinta Tianyin was reading an old, thread-bound book in her office. She didn't even notice Charlotte walking up to her. Charlotte went behind her and covered her eyes. He deliberately changed his voice and said, Guess who I am? Shinta Tianyin burst out laughing. The bodyguard at the door didn't stop you, and you still dare to cover my eyes. Pervert, your surname is Xia, right? Charlotte let go of Shinta Tianyin's eyes and said speechlessly, When did I become a pervert? Shinta Tianyin rolled her eyes at Charlotte coquetting. Isn't it? Ever since you came back from the hospital last time, I can't stand you anymore. Such words and such a soft voice made Charlotte's heart itch. He put his arms around her shoulders. What are you reading? Medical books. I asked Uncle Fu to find them for me. Shinta Tianyin said, There are some nutritious houses in the book that can make you stronger. Where did you get stronger? Stop there. Shinta Tianyin nudged Charlotte behind him with her elbow. Charlotte smirked. Am I not strong enough? I just want to get pregnant with our child as soon as possible. My father talks about it every day, and I am so annoyed. Shinta Tianyin said, Sometimes I even suspect that he is the reincarnation of Tang Sung. After flirting for a while, Charlotte let go of Shinta Tianyin and got to the point. Honey, I'm going to Germany tomorrow. Shinta Tianyin was startled. What are you going to do in Germany? Charlotte said, I received the notice suddenly. This is very important to our country. I can't tell you what I'm going to do in Germany right now. I will tell you later. It's okay, I understand. Can you help me manage Rema Group after I leave? Of course, you're my husband and your company is my company. If I don't manage it, who else will? Don't worry, I will take care of everything at home, Shinta Tianyin said. When it was time to be clingy, she would be very clingy. When it was not time to be clingy, she would be very magnanimous and open-minded. This was also one of her charms. Time is tight. I still have to go to 101 innings now. I won't stay. I am leaving, Charlotte said. Shinda Tianyin stood up and gave Charlotte a kiss. Her eyes were full of reluctance and nostalgia. Are you coming back tonight? Charlotte nodded. Of course I am coming back. Go. I will wait for you at home, Shinda Tianyin said. Charlotte also looked at Shinda Tianyin reluctantly, then turned and left her office. Half an hour later, Charlotte arrived at 101 innings. Entering Sherborne's office, he found that Tang Yuyin, Long Bing, and Tang Buochuan were all in Sherborne's office. As soon as Charlotte entered the door, Tang Buochuan said, Brother Xia, I won't cause trouble for you. I am just a bystander. I will quit. You only need to choose two and take them with you. Charlotte, Brother Lei Zi. Tang Yin's voice was very sweet. You are so handsome today. Charlotte smiled bitterly. Don't be like this. I feel uncomfortable when you are like this. At this time, Sherborne suddenly said, I agree with Buochuan's proposal. Charlotte, you can take Long Bing and Yu Yin to Germany this time. Boss, sure, this and that. This is an order. Sherborne's tone was very strict. It's settled. You kid, you go to carry out the task. I will send you two great beauties. Do you still have any objections? Charlotte didn't know what to say. Kid, I am warning you. I will send you two of the most beautiful girls in our 101 innings. You have to be strict with yourself. Don't make any political mistakes. If you learn from James Bond and mess around, I will deal with you when you come back. Charlotte, meeting adjourned. Sherborne didn't wait for Charlotte to say anything. In the blink of an eye, he slipped out of the door and disappeared. Tang Buochuan also slipped away. Only Long Bing, Tang Yuyin, and Charlotte were left in the office. The two women looked at Charlotte, and Charlotte also looked at them. However, no one spoke. This scene was really strange. Chapter 565. The plane arranged by the German side took off at 10 o'clock and arrived in Germany 10 hours later. Because of the time difference, it was only 3 o'clock in the afternoon when they arrived in Germany. The plane landed at the airport in Essen. Under the escort of a team of German special forces, Charlotte and the others left the airport and went to Anina's house in the suburbs. According to the German side's plan, Charlotte and the others were actually going to a military base. However, Charlotte asked Anina to go home and have a look. The German side also agreed, but they were only allowed to stay for one night. The snow-covered mountain forest, the frozen river, and the Germanic wooden house between the mountain forest and the river. Revisiting the old place, Charlotte still felt like he had entered an oil painting. He could feel the peaceful and picturesque feeling here, but it was difficult to feel in China. This is my home. Anina introduced it to Tang Yuyin and Long Bing, and said warmly, Please come in. I'll make something for you. Tang Yuyin said, Is the food in your fridge edible? Anina had been in China for more than a year. Even if there was food in her fridge, it might not be edible. Don't worry about that. I have my ways. Anina said with a smile. Then I'll help you. Tang Yuyin followed Anina to her home. Long Bing and Charlotte walked behind. Long Bing whispered, She's been very obedient all the way, it feels so strange. Charlotte smiled. Do you want her to make trouble? Be obedient. I don't want to cause any trouble. Long Bing raised the corner of her mouth. She obviously didn't believe that Tang Yuyin would become an obedient girl. Chairman Xia, a young man dragging a suitcase, caught up with Charlotte and Long Bing. Do you have time to talk? The young man was tall, had long legs, and had a well-proportioned body. He wore a pair of black-rimmed glasses, was handsome, gentle, and handsome. Although he was with Charlotte, he was not easy to be ignored. The young man was Ryu Youngnam, a senior talent recently recruited by Rema Group from the talent market. He had studied abroad at the University of Munich and obtained a doctorate in electrical engineering. He knew German, was familiar with the environment in Germany, and had a PhD in electrical engineering. He was the talent needed for this mission, so Xia Lei brought him over from Hua. In addition, Charlotte had another purpose, which was to observe him and train him to be his assistant. There is a small story about Liu Zhongnan joining the Lima Group. At that time, the Xinzhou Industrial Group also took a fancy to him and offered a high salary, but he chose the much smaller Lima Group. At the interview, he said that Charlotte was the top mechanic and engineer of the country and offered a high salary, but he chose to join Rema Group. And he was willing to join Rema Group and contribute his youth to China's first private military enterprise. Charlotte said to Long Bing, "You go in first, I'll talk to Masao." Long Bing nodded and entered Anina's house. Charlotte said with a smile, "Masao, what do you want to talk to me about?" "Chairman Xia." Jungnam adjusted his glasses and said politely, "I know this place. It's a mess. Essen is an industrial city developed after World War II, but it is not the industrial center of Germany. If we want to build workshops and machine tools here, it will be difficult for us to transport the parts from China. This will prolong our stay in Germany, which will increase our risk." Ryu Jungnam didn't know Charlotte's identity as a consultant for 101 innings, nor did he know the identity of Tang Yuyin and Long Bing, but he was a very smart person. China came to Germany to build a production workshop for the XL 2500 sniper rifle and the Gale assault rifle, as well as the Heart-level super integrated intelligent machine tool of the Lima military factory. He could guess some things just based on this. Therefore, he was worried about Charlotte. Charlotte said, "I know you were a little worried, but don't worry. We're only staying here for one night, not to build a production workshop here. I don't think Germany wants to build such an important workshop in this place. Oh yes, I also want to ask you." "What do you want to ask me?" "You have been in Germany for several years, and you also have a lot of classmates. Do you have any classmates or friends who are in the construction industry? Do you want my classmates to help us build the workshop?" No. We want to build the workshop. The German side will be responsible for the civil engineering. You know Anina, she helped me start my business and put in a lot of effort. She has a dream. She wants a medieval-style castle and a farm or something." Charlotte smiled. "You know, every girl has a princess dream. I want to help her realize this dream. I want to build a medieval-style castle for her. If your classmates or friends have the ability, you can contact them." Unam thought for a moment. "No problem. Chairman Xia, I have a German classmate at the University of Munich who is studying architecture. He is very talented, especially good at designing classical-style houses. However, he is still starting his own business. I don't know if he has the ability to meet your requirements." Charlotte said, "It's fine as long as he has the talent. If he doesn't have the money, I can pay for the materials and labor." "Then it's no problem. I will call my friend now. He will be happy." Ryu Jungnam was very happy. He took out his phone and made the call. Charlotte walked to Anina's house. Many German special forces standing around the house looked at him, some with cold eyes, some with strange eyes, and some with awe. With the protection of these special forces, Charlotte was not too worried about what the CIB and the FA organization could do to him. This was Germany, the territory of the Germans. No matter who was here to destroy the interests of the Germans would certainly not let it go. Entering the house, Charlotte saw Tang Yuyin and Long Bing. Tang Yuyin was sitting on the sofa and resting. She said she would help Anina, but it was just words. There was no actual action. Long Bing was also lying on the sofa and dozing off. The feeling of jet lag was not good, and even a strong woman needed some time to adapt. However, this feeling was not very obvious on Xiaolei's body. Xiaolei entered the kitchen and saw Anina making bread with the flour she had prepared. In addition, she prepared a large piece of ham, which was thawing. "Can this ham still be eaten?" Charlotte said. "You have been gone for more than a year. I am afraid it has expired." Anina then realized that Charlotte had entered the kitchen, and she looked very happy. "It won't expire. Our climate is different from yours. Our ham can be kept for 2 or 3 years, and the ham that is more than a year old is the most fragrant ham." "I see. I will help you," Charlotte said. "Well, then help me deal with the ham," Anina said. Charlotte soaked the ham in water to thaw, then rubbed the ham with his hands to reduce the time it took to thaw, and said, "Anina, I will ask Masao to contact his friend. His friend is a very talented architect, and I want him to help you build your castle. What do you think?" Anina suddenly became quiet. Charlotte was slightly stunned. "What's wrong with you? You don't like it?" "No." Anina suddenly burrowed into Charlotte's arms, wrapped her hands around Charlotte's neck, and excitedly said, I am moved. I am so moved, Lucas, my angel. I love you. Charlotte smiled. Then it's decided. Right. Where do you want to build your castle? Here. I like it here. This is my home. That's easy. When the architect comes, we will talk to him and then finalize the matter. If you have any request, don't hesitate to mention it to him. Well, now let's cook. Anina was still in Charlotte's arms. She kissed Charlotte's cheek. Her blue eyes were full of temptation. Lucas, come to my room tonight. I will arrange another room for your two friends. Oh, and Ryu Yoongnam, he also needs a room. But you don't need a room. You can sleep with me. Trouble had begun to appear. Charlotte was about to find an excuse to make Anina give up the idea when he suddenly heard footsteps behind him. He vigilantly got rid of Anina's hug and took 2 steps back. Just at this time, Tang Yuyin appeared at the door of the kitchen and lazily said, Are you done? I am starving. Charlotte said seriously, Can't you see we are busy, Miss Tang? Tang Yuyin yawned, turned around, and left. Anina couldn't help but move closer to Charlotte. Charlotte blinked his eyes. Tang Yuyin suddenly appeared at the door, staring at the 2 people in the kitchen. Anina was speechless. Miss Tang, what else do you want? You're busy. Tang Yuyin disappeared again. Lucas, are you afraid of her? Anina seemed to notice something. Charlotte had a headache. We can't be intimate with her. Why? She will tell the secret between us to my wife. Now do you understand why I am afraid of her? She is so bad. Anina curled up the corner of her mouth and looked unhappy. Forget it. Let's cook. Charlotte quickly changed the topic. He secretly breathed a sigh of relief in his heart. Although Tang Yuyin was a trouble, she was also a shield. The dinner was very simple. 2 men, 3 women, and there were very few words. The 3 women sat on the left side of the table, while Charlotte and Ryu Yoongnam sat on the right side. Ryu Yoongnam was very handsome, but sitting at the table, he didn't attract the attention of any of the 3 women. Other than looking at the food, the 3 women in front of him were also glancing at Xiao Lei. Some were glancing at him directly, while others were sneaking glances. Ryu Yoongnam seemed to smell something unusual. He hurriedly ate something and stood up, saying, Chairman Xia, I want to pick up my friend. He will be here soon. Charlotte nodded. Go. Ryu Yoongnam turned around and left. When he went out, he looked back at the table. He inexplicably sighed. In the Thunder Horse military factory, many people are talking about Chairman Xia's private life. It seems to be true. The 3 women at the table, except for Miss Long, Miss Tang, and Anina, all look like they want to eat Chairman Xia. Ah, Chairman Xia, don't blame me for not being loyal. I really can't help you. At the table, Charlotte suddenly trembled. He was sure that when Ryu Yoongnam went out, someone kicked him from under the table. He looked at the 3 women opposite him nervously, guessing who was playing tricks on him. The 3 women opposite him were quietly enjoying their dinner of bread, ham, and red wine. He looked at the 3 women, and the 3 women looked back at him. From their expressions, no one was suspicious. Chapter 566. But at this moment, the foot under the table stretched out again and gently kicked him. The last time, she was wearing shoes. This time, she actually took off her shoes. He could feel the silky feeling of the stockings. Charlotte was still sitting upright. On the surface, he didn't take any action, but his left eye had penetrated the table and caught the owner of the naughty leg. It wasn't Anina, nor Long Bing, but Tang Yuyin. She took off her high heels, and her jade foot was still crossed. The black stockings wrapped around her small jade foot, which had a unique, seductive smell. Not only her jade foot, but also her beautiful leg wrapped in black stockings. Because of the posture of crossing her leg, Charlotte could even see more of her hidden scenery with the help of his left eye. He had seen Tang Yuyin's body more than once, in the fitting room in Moscow, in the small hotel in Jordan. Her body was no secret to him, but no matter which time he saw it, the temptation was very strong. That feeling was also like a middle school student peeking at a woman's body in the bathhouse. It was novel exciting, and irresistible. This woman, Tang Yuyin, was different from the aloof and cold yet gentle Shinta Tianyin. She was different from the cold as snow yet wild and fiery Longbing. She was also not like Jiang Rui, who was lovable and obedient. She was like a mischievous little wildcat. She was hard to grasp and always gave people headaches. However, once she was quiet, people who were with her would feel that something was missing. Another metaphor is the rose. People liked the beauty and fragrance of roses. They couldn't help but want to get close to them, but they would inevitably be pricked by the thorns on their bodies. But even so, people still went to pick flowers. Just when Charlotte was stunned, Tang Yin's jade foot came over again and gently rubbed against Charlotte's calf. She was doing this, but on the surface, she was seriously eating ham and drinking red wine. She even didn't forget to praise Anina's cooking. What does she want to do? Charlotte was well aware of this. She was testing him, testing his reaction. She did this little thing under the table and pretended it wasn't her. Weren't they testing his relationship with Long Bing or Anina? If he didn't respond, she would conclude that he had an illicit relationship with either Long Bing or Anina. Otherwise, why wouldn't he have any reaction when faced with such teasing? He had to admit that she was a very smart woman. Her head was full of bad ideas. If you want to play, I'll accompany you. Charlotte thought to himself. He put a piece of ham in a Long Bing's plate and said with a smile, "This meat is very fragrant. Eat more." Long Bing was stunned and looked at Charlotte awkwardly. She felt very strange. On the way here, she had deliberately kept a distance from Charlotte so that Tang Yuyin wouldn't find out the relationship between her and Charlotte. But she didn't expect that Charlotte would add food for her in front of Tang Yuyin. Wasn't he deliberately shooting himself in the foot? Sure enough, before Long Bing said anything, Tang Yuyin said with a smile, "Yo, you two have a good relationship. Xiaolei, you're adding food for Long Bing, but you're not adding food for me and Anina. What's the meaning of this?" She thought to herself, "Brat, you must think that Long Bing is teasing you with her feet, right? You've shown your foxtail, haven't you?" But at this moment, Tang Yuyin, who had just finished speaking, suddenly trembled. There was an extra foot on her thigh, a foot without shoes. The big foot rubbed against her stockings twice, then suddenly clamped on her thigh, not too lightly but not too heavily. She was very clear who that foot belonged to because there was only one person sitting opposite her, Charlotte. Charlotte's toes released Tang Yuyin's thigh, but he didn't stop there. Instead, he explored along the inside of her thigh. Tang Yuyin suddenly tensed up, and her beautiful face blushed. She stared at Charlotte, fearing that his stinky foot would go into her skirt. If there was only her and Charlotte here, she would have stopped it long ago. But there were Long Bing and Anina on both sides of her. Facing Charlotte's perverted pig's foot, she didn't even dare to make a sound. She teased Charlotte, and Charlotte teased her in return. But looking at the current situation, she was obviously the one at a disadvantage. She was the one who shot herself in the foot. That perverted pig's foot was getting closer and closer to that sensitive place. Tang Yuyin bit her lip and glared fiercely at Xiaolei. However, there was something else in her eyes which made her look watery and complicated. Xiaolei looked at Tang Yuyin with a fierce look on his face. However, that foot didn't get close to that place in the end. It left. Long Bing got up and said, "I'm done. Enjoy your meal." Anina also took the plate and left. "I'm going to clean up the room for you." Only Charlotte and Tang Yuyin were left at the dining table. As soon as Long Bing and Anina walked away, Tang Yuyin fired at Charlotte. "You pervert. Don't you have any shame?" Charlotte said slowly, "I also want to ask you, what did you want to do just now?" Tang Yuyin didn't know what to say. If she didn't provoke Charlotte, why would Charlotte provoke her? Charlotte smiled. "You don't have to be like this. I'm a righteous person. Long Bing and I are just ordinary friends. It's up to you whether you believe it or not." "Well, enjoy your meal. I'm done." With that, he also took the plate and left. Tang Yuyin stared blankly at Xiaolei's back. After a while, she finally said, "Pervert. Only a ghost would believe you." An hour later, Ryu Yungnam's friend came. He was a German named Sergei. He had blonde hair and was as young as Ryu Yungnam. He was wearing a wrinkled suit, and his shoes looked very old, although they were well polished. The first impression that Sergei gave was not that of an architect, but that of a poor university graduate who didn't have a fixed income and lived in a dirty and chaotic slum. "Oh, my friend, I'm so happy to see you." Sergei walked towards Ryu Youngnam and hugged Ryu Youngnam. Ryu Youngnam smiled bitterly. "Sergei, what's wrong with you? You should wear something more decent. Although my boss doesn't judge a book by its cover, you should at least wear a decent suit. You know, my boss wants to talk to you about a project worth tens of millions of euros, but you—" An awkward look appeared on Sergei's face. "My friend, as you can see, I borrowed this suit from someone else." Ryu Youngnam was speechless. "Take me to your boss." Sergei quickly returned to normal. "I know Chinese bosses are more concerned about decency, but you have to let me try. I might not be able to move your boss." Ryu Youngnam said, "Come with me." After a pause, he said to Sergei, "All right, I have to remind you. My boss has 3 women around him, all very beautiful and sexy. You have to be careful. Don't be rude. Don't stare at them." Well, it's useless to stare. He knew the situation very well. When he sat next to Charlotte, the 3 women didn't even bother to look at him, let alone Sergei. "Don't worry. My mind is full of castles. As long as your boss gives me a chance, I will build him the most beautiful castle in Europe," Sergei said. "Let's go, follow me." Ryu Youngnam led the way. "There's so many special forces here." Only then did Sergei notice the armed special forces guarding the house. "Don't ask, just do your job," Ryu Youngnam reminded him. Okay, Sergei said with a smile. "Your boss is really arrogant." The special forces at the door checked Sergei's body to make sure he didn't carry any weapons before letting him in. In the living room, Charlotte was sitting on the sofa watching a football game. The game between Bayern Munich and Dortmund could be called the Bundesliga's national derby. He wasn't really interested in football. The reason why he was watching the game was because Anina was a Dortmund fan. Naturally, the 3 women were watching the game with him, and they were squeezed on the sofa with him. The sofa was also very crowded. On Charlotte's left was Long Bing, and on his right was Tang Yuyan. The 2 women's moon-like round buttocks were squeezed against him, and the position made him a little uncomfortable. Anina sat next to Long Bing, but she didn't pay attention to Long Bing, Tang Yuyan, and Charlotte. As a die-hard Bumblebee fan, she was already immersed in the game. Ryu Youngnam led Sergei in, and Charlotte's gaze also moved from the TV to Sergei. Ryu Youngnam hadn't introduced him, but he had already guessed Sergei's identity. Sergei's shabby image also worried him a little. After all, his situation was a little different from what Ryu Youngnam described. "Chairman Xia, this is Sergei." Ryu Youngnam introduced him to Charlotte. Charlotte stood up to greet him and took the initiative to shake hands with Sergei. He said in German, "Mr. Sergei, nice to meet you." Sergei said in surprise, "Mr. Xia, you speak German really well." As he spoke, he glanced at the 3 women sitting on the sofa from the corner of his eye. Sure enough, as Ryu Youngnam said, the 3 women didn't even look at him. "Mr. Sergei, let's go to the study to talk," Charlotte said. "Okay, let's talk in the study," Sergei said. The 3 men went to the study. Tang Yuyan said to Anina, "Anina, Charlotte is building a house for you. Don't you want to go and have a look?" "Good ball," Anina suddenly roared. Tang Yuyan looked at Long Bing speechlessly. Long Bing said indifferently, "Go if you want. Why are you looking at me?" "I don't want to go. It's not like he's building a house for me." Tang Yuyan rolled her eyes at Long Bing. The 3 women continued to watch the ball. An hour later, Charlotte, Ryu Youngnam, and Sergei came out of the study. Charlotte walked Sergei to the door. "Then it's decided. I'll let Masahiro be in charge of this. Money is not a problem, as long as you build the castle I want." No problem. Thank you, Mr. Xia," Sergei said politely. He glanced at the 3 women on the sofa from the corner of his eye, but to his dismay, the 3 women still didn't look at him. After sending Sergei away, Charlotte returned to the sofa, in the same position, between Long Bing and Tang Yuyan. The 2 women's round buttocks gently pressed against him, The feeling was very subtle. "It's done. We can go about our business tomorrow," Charlotte said. The three women's eyes all focused on Charlotte. If Sergei could see this scene, he would definitely feel sad for his masculinity. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.